and good morning, everyone. You are listening to the morning show with Dan Repay on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. And you're also watching live here at the Shagvento Studios on YouTube. So we're going to get started in just a little bit. But first, we are going to do traffic and weather for everybody. Hope everyone is having a good Thursday morning, and it is almost Friday, so that is the good thing. Today, right now, currently, it is 62 degrees. Today, we are seeing highs of 86 degrees and lows of 66. Mostly sunny, wildfire smoke. Words are hard today this morning. It's okay. Will cause the sky to be hazy. And then tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 66. Tomorrow, we are seeing highs of 83 degrees and lows of 66 degrees. Rain and a thunderstorm, humid with a rain and thunderstorm later on in the nighttime as well. Saturday, highs of 73 degrees, lows of 65 degrees. A shower and a thunderstorm with humid weather and partly cloudy and humid weather later on in the nighttime. Taking a look at traffic in the Northwest region, traffic is actually looking pretty good. 65 going north and south is looking good. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyways, we do have a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder on the Bishop Ford West at 111th Street, exit 66A. That was reported and updated about 30 minutes ago. But as we continue on into Dan Ryan, right at the connector right there with the Dan Ryan and the Bishop Ford, there's just a slight bit of traffic going west. Route 30 is good. Thank you to Bob Starkey, who just sent me the text. Route 30 is all good for those of you who are headed that way. As we look into downtown, you may get some traffic because Lollapalooza is happening. They're closing down the certain streets downtown, and that is until Monday, August 3rd. So that seems to be a very, very exciting concert for everybody. But other than that, that's all we got for traffic and weather. We're going to do a quick commercial break as we wait for Dan Repay to get here. And he will be here shortly. He just sent me a text. He was just like, I'm on my way. But that gives me time. We do a new graphic for him that we're going to put on the back of the screen and up as we do our commercial breaks. So don't go anywhere. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors. And then maybe we'll play one of our new WJOB spotlights that we are now doing, which is basically 4 to 7 minutes where we talk with one of our clients, existing customers, and or new customers, and it's 4 to 7 minutes of who you are, what you do, what your company is, and what you're trying to promote. So that is what we will do in the meantime. But for right now, let's take a word from our sponsors. You are listening to The Morning Show with Dan Repay on WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its 3rd generation, providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
All right, so good morning, everyone. We are just gonna do a little bit of chatting. How's everybody doing today? And here's the new graphic. Hope everybody likes it. It's about time we got him an actual graphic, because I was like, what's the show name gonna be called? And I think it's just the morning show with whatever host. I think that just kind of like stuck with the ring. So we're gonna keep that one going. So yeah, that's a new graphic. We got it up there. So hopefully when he comes in, he's gonna look at it. He's be like, "Hey, we like the show." But yeah. So currently, right now in the region, see, I did not know I'd be hosting for the first few minutes, but that's all right. If you want to call in 219-845-1100, you can definitely do that. Earlier we were talking about our WJLB spotlights, and we are starting to do a couple of those. We have some to post that will be up later today. And speaking of that, he probably heard me babbling. Good morning. Oh, thank you. Do you like your graphic?
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, we got you a graphic.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that means that we like you and we want to keep you.
He just wants me to stay here, right?
Yeah, we just want you to stay.
Because he doesn't want to come in the morning. And I'll tell you what.
Well, no, after Labor Day.
After Labor Day, he's coming in? So...
On Tuesdays.
Ooh, just on Tuesdays?
Just on Tuesdays.
So then what happens all the other days?
Well, we'll talk about what's going to happen all the other days.
We can talk about it now because I just had one heck of a morning. I had everything planned out. I had my list of topics to talk about. Mm-hmm. I had my earphones. By the way, thank you for the extra ones.
You're fun. Yep.
And then my dog decides to have a different morning than planned. So when that all happens, you got to deal with it. So evidently, she's 14 years old, so that's pretty good. Decides to do what she's got to do. I have to deal with the consequences, and I'm texting you on the way, and I'm like, I promise you, I'm coming. But
yeah, no, you're all good.
This is gonna be a fun one because I mean I have certain topics I got to talk about, but I'm gonna really need to lean on some callers here for a little bit because I'm gonna have to recall in my little small brain that what I was gonna talk about today. But I do have visitors too. I hope we don't already have scheduled visitors.
Nope, you are good until 9 o'clock.
Whew. All right. So
We got the full 3 hours.
We've got scheduled visitors. We have NIPSCO coming in. So
Okay.
we have a representative from NIPSCO, and we're going to talk about all sorts of things. And if some of the callers have, or some of the listeners have some ideas of what they want to talk about, I know there's all kinds of questions. Power outage, by the way, my power went out for the first time in. I lived in my house for 17 years, and first time power went out, and I will tell you, it's not fun, but you understand that. I also had a tornado that came just over the border. So I live in Munster. I'm just over the state line in Munster, and there was a tornado or two over there this past Monday, which was an exciting point, because I'll tell you what, that wind was moving, and I'm sure some trees fell on some power lines, and so I figured while I was sitting there, I'm like, I should have NIPSCO on to just sort of go over some aspects of how do they decide on, who to restore first, how that looks. Do they have people and contractors that come in? What are they doing long-term for capital improvements to improve the delivery, I guess, of power? Because I know they are working on some things, and they are working on different aspects of trying to reroute to give alternative sources of power. If your power goes out on this line, they can reroute it around the back. But so I figured during that time I'm trying to think, we were out of power for, I think it was 8 to 10 hours, maybe. I don't remember exactly, because I was at work, and I tried to hit my garage door, and it didn't go. And then I hit my garage door, and I'm like, all right, what's the problem? And then you go inside your house, and you're like, nothing's on.
No power.
You figure it out eventually. So we got that, and then we have that's at 7:00. So if you have a question, I'm not sure if they're coming in or if they're calling. I gave them the option of calling. I give all the people options because I didn't know what the studio is like or what the temperature is, and I haven't been in here. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been.
We have AC.
You do?
Yes.
Well, then I'll start inviting people in, because I was like, well, it could be really a little bit warm in there, so you can just call in, and that's just fine. And for most people, it sort of works because they would prefer to call in, I would assume, than have to get all dressed up. But I mean, they could sit at home and do whatever they got to do. But so there's that at 8, and then at 7, and then at 8. We have the South Shore Convention Visitors Authority. They're going to come talk about the air show that is coming on later in August. So I told them, I said, well, I don't have a show. I don't think I'm scheduled to sometime in mid-August, so you better get in now. And they will go over, what's happening out there, what sponsorships possibly could look like, what type of parking. There's a big scam, I guess, out there that people are trying to pre-sell parking. Well,
Yep.
Is it? Have you seen that? I've heard it. I've not seen it.
With certain parking apps,
Yes.
And that's why you got to really look at the reviews, because they'll sell you parking that doesn't exist.
So that is what's happening in this case. So, I mean, that's not what their main purpose is going to be today, but they do want to make you aware of it because, you have that problem. And then there's, didn't that happen at Festival of Lakes, I think, at one of the concerts where there was people were selling parking and they thought they had bought parking and they didn't get parking and there's too many people there. And
I think they were at max capacity, and
they
were max capacity for the concert.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So people were parking because they wanted to go to a concert.
Of course.
But they're like, concerts at max capacity. You can go to the festival, the actual carnival part. But yeah, it was very, very crowded this year.
Did you go?
I did not, because I honestly, a lot of these festivals, I just keep forgetting that they're on these weekends.
Come on.
So then,
what were you doing otherwise?
Honestly, me and my friends, we were either going to go play pool, go play billiards.
Pool player, huh?
Yeah. It's pretty fun. I did not know how to play at first, and then my brother was like, "Do you want to come with me?" And I was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna suck." And then now I'm actually pretty good. But then if you tell me, "Hey, you got to call your pocket every shot," I'm like,
"Yeah, it's not your your cup of tea."
I'll play like scrappy pool,
which is just hit the ball, and if it goes in,
it goes in.
I'm in. I used to play pool a lot. I have not played pool in a very, very, very long time, but I enjoy it. I mean, it's fun,
It's fun.
because it's like it takes some time. You can or cannot put a couple dollars possibly on it amongst friends, or maybe they'll buy you something in exchange for losing or winning. But I learned at my uncle's house, and they had like what they called the sissy stick. And maybe that's not appropriate, but it's just what we called it, which is the thing that you put out there. It's sort of the guide, so that like if you couldn't reach out to the ball and hit it, you had to put that out there, and it would help guide you. But I mean, we learned and I played, and it's sort of fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I just don't do it anymore, and I don't know I didn't know there was many places that still have pool tables.
Yeah, there's one.
Talk to me. Where?
There's Griffith Billiards.
Where's that on Main?
That's on Main Street. That one is it is a smoking place though. So yeah, if you don't mind smelling like cigarettes, but there's that one, and then Tom's Billiards. That's in Hammond, right before you get into Whiting. So the Strachan Van Til's, that's in the Hammond Whiting area.
Right at 119th Street.
It's right next to that.
Oh, okay.
And that one is a non-smoking one.
See, the funny thing is you talk about not smelling like smoke. There's a little bit of age difference between us, and I hate saying this, but when I was younger, I mean, that's just what happened. And, it sort of stunk, no joke, no pun intended. But like if we went out on a weekend or we were going to a bar, you just knew that those clothes were done for the day. And actually it got so bad for me. Like I wasn't a smoker, never was a smoker. But you would literally, I'd have to go take a shower.
You'd smell like,
before I went to bed, because then you put I did have hair at one point. So you would put your head on the pillow, and then all of a sudden your pillow's starting to smell like it. And I'm like, and you don't, as a non-smoker, you're more susceptible to it than someone that smokes, because they're like, well, this is just what the smoke is, and this is what the smell is. And I'm going, but yeah, now the funny thing is with this non-smoking, it's like I've been in some large establishments around this region that are, like they have the smoking and the non-smoking. I'm like, come on, there's no such thing as a non-smoking area. As long as you have smoking in the same building, you could try. But,
or you just tell people, hey, you got to go outside.
Yeah. I mean, and it's fun. I still don't. I understand it to be an addiction. I mean, and that's what it is. It's like smoking's an addiction because no other way around it. Someone said, you know what, you probably should go smoke. Like there's no studies out there by any medical person whatsoever that says, that's a pretty good idea. You should go ahead and smoke. And
I mean, back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, I still know people that still smoke today. I'm going, and you talk to them, and I don't talk to him as a child but I talk to him as friend to friend, and I go, man, you still smoking? He goes, yep, I'm still smoking. I go, all right, well, I mean, it happens. My dad smoked for 35 years. He ultimately had some health issues from it, but but back then smoking was what you did. You smoked. That was the thing to do. And sort of like probably like going to Starbucks like I do and you do. And we just sit there and go, oh, we're going to drink this energy drink. And then 10 years down the line, someone's going to say, well, that energy drink was filled with bad stuff that you shouldn't drink. And then we'll find something
now you have
different.
heart palpitations.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I've realized is that there's a lot of places that are smoking, non-smoking, but then now there's a lot of places that there's that in between of e-cigarettes. So anything of like vapes or anything like that, that's that in between. So when because my friends, they all smoke. I do not personally. Yeah. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm okay. But if I had the choice between, hey, if you're going to smoke cigarettes or if you're going to smoke something that's going to make you smell like blueberries, I'd rather you smell like blueberries.
But isn't that considered this? I mean,
it's worse. Yeah.
And I
think it gets into your system faster.
Yeah, So, let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Here's a hypothetical. If someone is smoking a cart, right? That's what they call it.
I guess I'd call them little smoke boxes.
Right.
I don't know.
All right, let's just call it smoke boxes in your world. Is that considered smoking?
That is, yes.
So because I went into my office,
if you start looking like a dragon, you're smoking.
Well, I went into my office because I wasn't sure. Like I was sort of caught off guard, so I went into my office for my little Cal job, and I came up the elevator, and I got off the elevator, and I was about to walk to my office, and there was a guy that it's like a little hall, it's like a hallway that has 4 different units, so we were one of the 4, and there was a guy that was at the end of the hallway hitting his little smoke box, right?
Yeah, was it like a lot? Like
No, it wasn't like the
or
ones
just
where-
like little.
just little. And I'm going, I said, is that considered smoking or is that not? I don't know. Because I've seen the people that like they'll sit at a stop sign or stop whatever.
And it just comes out the
and
window.
it just comes out both windows. I'm like, I don't even know how the person sees, but I think it's more of for an effect or anything.
Yeah,
But
they make them for straight effects, and then they make the ones that are like very like small and little. And I've seen both of them, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
But that's just as addictive.
It is,
right?
yes.
I mean, I was with, like I said, I was with someone who just kept on, and it's funny because they hold it in their hand, and maybe my friends that do this, because I know some friends that are on these. It's funny because they hold it in their hand and they think that no one else knows, and I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. That's your choice to do it. But it's like they're trying to hide it. I'm like, don't have to hide it. But I just go, once again, it's just sort of a thing, and it's
kind of interesting how many different variations there are of it too.
well, and aren't there variations that are probably in Indiana illegal to be participating in? I mean, it's just like I just I don't get it, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's everyone's got their thing.
Everyone's got their thing.
Trust me, I've got probably some things that other people look at me and go, what is he doing? But yeah, the whole cart thing, the whole smoke boxes things.
You know, the thing was, I was with my friends one day, and it was like everybody's hanging out, and they're like, "Oh, you don't smoke." Like the next day, they realized, they're like, "You don't smoke." I'm like, "I do not." They're just like, "Okay, no wonder why you didn't like do any of that the entire." I'm like, "No, thank you." And I'm like, "I don't do the smoke boxes." They're like, "That's not what they're called." And I had a whole 30-minute history lesson on what each one's called, what each one does, and I was just like, "Wow, that like it's very knowledgeable to know." And Mark Opel, you are correct. Vaping is actually more dangerous for you because it's higher concentrated. So they know the level of concentration. They know how many watts, how much it'll
Your
give
friend?
you.
Are you
Like,
talking about your friends know this?
they know they know the science behind it all, and it's very interesting. Honestly, when they were telling me about it, I was like, okay, I thought they all just did the same thing, and they don't. And it was actually interesting just to listen and hear about it, because to do any kind of substance of that, you do have to be knowledgeable on what it's going to do to you.
So can you put, and by the way, if anyone wants to join this conversation, 845-1100, but I'm curious because this is more information than I've ever known. But like, can you buy, like if you buy cigarettes, you could buy lights or ultra lights or heavy or whatever.
Yeah, so they have non-nicotine.
So then what are you doing then? So you just
a
inhaling smoke?
Flavor,
Flavor?
I guess, yeah.
Get a lollipop, right? I mean, I don't know what to tell you on that one. I'm like,
That's all that. If you want to feel included with your friends and you don't want the nicotine aspect, it's honestly, it's still gonna affect you. I just think it won't affect you as quick. But they have like non-nicotine. They have basically the vegan version of smoking.
that's great. The vegan, like, I have never been a big conformer guy person.
Yeah.
So
It's just like there's non-alcoholic beer.
well, I get, but see, I get non-alcoholic beer, and here and I get it and I don't get it. So there are folks that have a drinking issue and they like the taste of it. I've never in my years have ever liked the taste of alcohol, except for, and you don't remember, but Zima was probably the best one, and those people that are probably grew up in the 90s are laughing right now, but we would have Zima, which was like a malt liquor. It was terrible by itself, but what we would do, because I guess we're sort of like the e-cigarette group, was we'd put Jolly Ranchers in them, so you would be able to have flavored. So it was like what do they got the Sea Breeze, they got all kinds of different drinking options now that are like fruity drinks. So in our world, it was Zima with Jolly Ranchers in it. But non-alcoholic drinks, there are folks that suffer and that have addiction, and so they still like the taste. I never got into the taste of beer, but that's what they drink. My dad used to drink Sharps, which was a early version of non-alcoholic drink.
Okay.
And I'm going, I don't get it. But I mean, that's what he did. never came down on me, but it's fascinating. We should have someone. I never knew there was that much into those the cartridges or the carts or whatever you call them.
I didn't know they made them in glass too. Like it looks like a little like I just thought vape pens were just very rectangular boxes, but then that's when they first came out and became popular in the early 2010s. Like
well, don't they have like almost like straws, straws?
That's what it looked like to me, and I was like, "That's what they are." They're like, "No, this little one that's plastic and has glass in it. That's an access to it." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Well, what happens when you drop it? Isn't it gonna break? It's glass." They're like, "There's a chance that it can break, yes." And
what do those things run? Do you have any
there's some
idea?
friends that they will pay $20 and some that'll pay $80 for it, and then to recharge it, because they come, like, if you buy a brand new one, what I've learned is that it comes with a little battery pack that you can charge it, and then you apply the smoke box to it, and you can get refills of the smoke box for half the price. And then for the ones that are in like the $80 range, you have to buy what I now know they're called coils. And I was like, this is getting into like some very engineering type aspects. And I was like, but honestly, I'm happy that they know instead of like, I don't know.
I'm going to tell you the honest truth that I didn't think, and I didn't have written on the notes that I have at my house.
This is what we would talk about today.
That we would be talking about e-cigarettes or carts and the engineering of it. I would never think to pay $80 for basically a holder of the thing, and the fact that it could break. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, we all have sunglasses. I mean, I have sunglasses that if I broke them, I'd be really sad, but I don't think they're that super expensive. That would be amazing. So, well, it's our 6:25 already. I mean, and
the educational aspect. We did do a break beforehand, so we can keep going till 6:45.
Oh, should we do a break? Do you want to do a break? I
mean,
I've got a new logo. I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, we got callers if you want to take callers. Oh, yeah,
let's take callers. I'd like to be educated on more stuff, since you guys are really going to bail me out today, since my list of things and topics. I mean, I have some topics we can still talk about. But yeah, caller, go ahead.
Good morning.
You're live.
You are on the line.
Educate me. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So you say you don't drink beer. Do you try any non-alcoholic beers?
I will tell you, very rarely will I drink a beer. It's not anything judgmental. I just don't. It just makes me feel like I'm bloated more than anything. And then I have never tried a non-alcoholic beer. Have you?
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I'm calling. I mean, I drink. I can't say I drink every beer ever made, because that's impossible. But I put a dent in it. I'm 70 years old. You know, I used to be in a bar. I used to own a bar. I used to be in bars. I used to be a bouncer.
Yeah.
And then when I just started blowing up, there was a beer. It's an imported beer. It's called Hecky Beck's.
What is it?
It's made by Hecky Beck's.
Hecky Beck's.
You ever heard of Beck?
Yeah, sure.
Hecky
Beck's beer. Yeah.
Beck's beer. Well, you drink a couple of Beck's beers, man. It's like you walk around like you got a barrel strapped to you. It's real thick.
Yeah.
But that non-alcoholic Hecky Beck's, you got almost the same flavor, and there's no alcohol in it.
Does it make you feel that way? Does it make you feel that way too? I mean, it's not.
No, you don't get bloated, and you don't get bloated, and you don't get drunk. But you can really taste the skunkiness. And your imported beers are skunky and stuff. I'm just surprised. Were you or your brother? Which one did you own the bar?
My brother did.
Oh, okay.
And I will tell you, I was a bartender at the FOP. That's where I actually met my wife at. It's weird, but yeah, I was a bartender because I got laid off, and my friends were president, vice president of FOP. They say, well, we need a bartender. And I was like, sure, I could do shot and a beer. And that's pretty much what that place was. So, yeah.
I used to tend bar there. When it was this Shamrock.
Oh yeah.
And I'm the reason they took the pool table out. I mean, I didn't cause it, but I was the bartender at the time, and we had a brawl, and the cops had to show up, and Dennis said, "Oh, this pool table's been in here for 25 years, and we're taking it out."
What?
That was a brutal night. Yeah, it was a real brutal night. We had I won't name the name of the club, but it was a bunch of bikers came in, and they were looking for this girl. When she walked in the door, they took her in the girl's bathroom. I never realized that bathroom could hold 7 people. And I walked in there, and I got my hair cut. I looked like a Baptist. No offense to the Baptist.
No
and they go,
offense
we
to
don't care if
anybody.
you're the bartender or not. And they put me under the pool table, and they, I won't tell you the rest because there's children listening, I'm sure. But you guys, when you guys got that place, you guys really fixed it up. You really did.
Well, it
I'm
wasn't
proud of
me.
you for that.
It was my brother. But I remember going into the Shamrock. So maybe we've seen each other. I wonder if that bar that you're speaking of that we won't name was that located just to the north of that bar that they went into, or is where?
No, they went into the bar that your brother owned. It was a different name at the time.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I find it fascinating, and that's a lot of long hours. If you owned a bar, that means you had to be there a lot, especially before technology and all the cameras and everything else that you had to deal with. But it's I'll tell you a story when I was bartending. It was the first or the second night I was bartending, and a person came in. And I didn't know. It was 2 a.m, and we closed at 3. So he's like, I want a beer. And he looked perfectly normal. And if you're familiar with the FOP, it had like a little semi driveway. And next thing I know, he has one beer, gets and leaves. I'm just about closing up. And someone comes in and is like, we need to use the phone. There's an accident in front of the FOP. And I'm like, all right. Well, it turns out it was the guy that was just in the bar with me with one drink, and I'm like full panic mode because I'm thinking, I got liability, it's my fault. But I guess the guy he was a good concealer of drinking, and thankfully he just hit the tree, and he'd hit the tree. I think he just was at whatever, it was like 10 miles an hour, but it was a messed up thing. I'll tell you what, I didn't like being a bartender because you have to sort of manage who's drinking and that's why your dram shop is so expensive, because I have family members that are bartenders for years. Anyway, one last thing. Yeah.
Do you ever notice in any profession, you go to the store, you say you go to the 7-Eleven, and you go up there and you buy one bag and you say bag of chips, and you go, hey, can I have this one for free? You ever know? You know where I'm coming from? When a guy goes into a bar and has a couple beers, he expects that second or third one to be free.
You're 100% correct.
You'll never make any money like that, ever, ever, ever. Your best friends, they'll make you broke.
Yeah, well, and we did have that, and it's like, okay, I mean, if my thing was, and I only did it for years, but like if the person has been there for, and I don't want to say 10 drinks, but they're buying a bunch of drinks for a bunch of people. You'd give him one, and all right, here you go. Here's one, but you couldn't buy the whole bar one. You ran one. I just was the bartender, but it just doesn't work. And especially, the funny thing is then people start upgrading when they get their free drinks. Like, okay, here's your free beer. No, I don't want the tap beer, which is a lot less expensive, and you have a little bit more margin on. Oh yeah, then they're like, well, we'll take the bottle. I go, wait a minute. Well, it's like it's a little bit different. I go, no, we're gonna do this. And I mean, it was a fraternal organization, but they still had to, make ends meet, and so it was just funny.
Got to pay the bills.
Oh yeah, some people would just absolutely upgrade. I'm going, yeah, this isn't for the upgrade. This is just for the same Miller Lite. Which, by the way, for some reason, after working at a bar, I can never drink out of a tap. I know it's cheaper for me, but I have to do bottles because and you know this, but the lines sometimes get dirty, and some people don't always clean the lines from the kegs, and it's like the beer is just not the same.
It turns into a glue.
Yeah.
Actually a glue. You could actually hang pictures on the wall with that stuff when it hardens.
I was going to say that, but I was like, for all the people that have never seen a line clean before, there you go. There's your visual. You could probably hang a picture with it. So I appreciate the call. It was good stuff. Good talking to you. Thank you.
All right, so we do got full phone lines. So let's
go for it.
I was gonna say let's actually take a break.
Oh,
I'm gonna change my mind because we got full phone lines.
You're the boss. I mean, I'll just go. So we'll go to break at 6:33 in the morning, 845-1100, and on the back side, we'll take all these phone calls and learn about educational stuff. So
Need clean energy without the junk? I'm Jim Deedlow. I used to live on burgers, football, basketball, baseball. Now I'm gluten-free and more into biking, golf, and yoga. But I still need energy. That's why I love Paradise, developed by Emily D. Edwards right here in Cherville. My favorite is Paradise Packs Strawberry with gluten-free pretzels. Find it soon at Strachan Van Til or at spreadparadise.com.
Fox Point bursts with free concerts throughout July. Our Wednesday night concert series features Hairbangers Ball, Hello Weekend, All American Throwbacks, and Keith Jackson and the Triple Dose Band. Enjoy the Northwest Indiana Symphony Orchestra on Friday, July 17th, and come back for Marrakesh Express and Echoes of Pompeii on Friday, July 31st. Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is just minutes from I-8094 and parking is free. Visit foxpoint.org for our full schedule. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
The best just got better. Tech Credit Union is proud to celebrate being recognized with Best of the Region, Best CEO, and Best Banker. To celebrate, we're offering 3 special CD offers with rates up to 4.5% APY for a limited time. Visit techcu.org or stop by your nearest Tech Credit Union branch or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union, the better option for people and communities we serve. Member NCUA. Minimum deposit required. Offer subject to change. Visit techcu.org for complete details.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
And welcome back, everyone, at 6:37 on WJOB. I'm Dan Repay, and I'm hosting this Thursday and going forward probably every other Thursday from what I've been told by my contract. So but before the break, we were talking about e-cigarettes and bars, and we have a bunch of callers that may want to talk about that, may want to talk about other things. We have NIPSCO that may be here or calling in at around 7. So if you got questions, we try to answer those for you. So go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. You know what? Are you all listening to the news lately?
I have.
To the news lately?
Yes, sir.
We're going toward a world war right now. Hold on, let me just tell you. This morning, my understanding that Donald Trump said he was surprised of China furnishing, giving aid to the person that we at war with. Now, this is supposed to be our friend, China. They're just over there. We're not talking about smoking and getting drunk. We're talking about something that's safe or world war. Because right now, they all supporting, and Trump said China is his friend because the speaker, the Republican guy who has a wife from China, she's over there, and he's sick, okay? And right now, what's happened to NATO? You know, I'm just simply saying that right now, I thought this, and this is my opinion, and I will buy some time on there to talk about what some of these people, Republicans, are talking about. Oh, Donald Trump, he's just trying to, he's surprised. Why is he surprised of China? Why is he surprised that China's surprised? Are we at war with? We're gonna blow up Iran? If Iran and China and Russia get together, they may blow us up.
Look,
isn't that important to be talking about this morning?
Well, we could talk about anything. Hold on. We could talk about anything you want. It just happened that I left my list of items at home, and me and Adriana started talking about smoking, and it's okay to talk about other things, but here's what I'll tell you.
I respect
China's not our friend. Russia's not our friend.
Okay.
Neither one of them are our friends. But here's what you're not going to get the president of the United States, whoever it is, going to tell you that they're not our friend, because we all know that, and probably everybody knows that. But it's something that you just can't sit there and go, well, they're our sworn enemy, and this because China has potentially to cause us problems.
Yeah. Here we got a very smart man in Washington, D.C., but again, he says, they just played a quote, and it's coming from him. Ain't nobody made it up, that I like the uneducated people to vote. And last night I listened, 66% of the people uneducated. Basically what he's talking you all down. He wants dumb, stupid people as opposed to educated people. I mean, I like to hear some of these people who call, Donald Trump is the guy. He's the guy. Look here. It's time for us to drop him, okay? It's time for us to drop him, because right now we're threatened towards a world war. Where do we get most of our stuff from right now? China, right? We do China. But again, right now, all parts and stuff for these cars, I know about this. I'm probably going to buy some time on the radio station there at WJOB just to talk about this.
I think they would love to have your money. I think they would love to have your money.
I think they would not to hear what I have to say about it, because it's the truth.
Well, you're on right now.
Those callers, we hear those callers which want to beat up Ron. Well, you hear them. You only got about 3 or 4, because the majority of those people on WTOB who are listening, they love to see somebody speaking up, and I talk to them every day. When they hear, you run that now? We love you. Don't worry about those people. And I say, that's what keeps me going. Because I could say, I talk on different radio stations. Okay, I talk on WLTH radio. Some of these people, they would never call the WLTH radio. They spew all their hate right there on WJOB. And I know that, I'm not saying that I think Didelo is a decent guy. He wants to hear the truth. And I'm sure he's told, don't let him come on the radio with my hand. I'm sure he's told that.
I'm going to tell you. Here's hold on, Ron, you got to hold on. You got to take a breather here. First of all, no one has ever told me not to put anybody on this radio, and I can have anyone I want. It's never happened, so I'm not worried about that. The problem is, here's what's happened in society. You can't just be one or the other. You can't just hate Trump, and you can't just all believe everything. And that's in life. That's in everybody. That's in your friends.
I don't hate him.
No. Well,
I don't hate him. I dislike his policies.
Okay, that's fine. But all right, let me ask you a question.
Difference.
Let me ask you a question. Has he done anything good? I'm just asking. Is there anything that you felt like?
Let's put it this way. I'm gonna give him a credit for what he's
all right.
When he talked about the border was his thing of getting in office. The border, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, he did that, but he did a lot of dumb stuff too.
Well, we all do.
And of course, I
do the same thing.
He's the president of the United States.
I understand.
He is the president of the United States.
But as a person,
and he can't say it's whole countries. You know, when you say that, you're talking against.
We probably can't say that on the radio
me.
either. I got in trouble for that one.
Well, I don't. But he says it on TV.
He also controls the FTC. So, anyways, thank you, Ron. We do have other callers.
That's a real problem.
Thank you for your call, and call again. Go ahead, next caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing? It's Trucker Mike.
Trucker Mike, how are you doing?
All right. Well, I was going to talk about cigarettes and alcohol because I do smoke cigarettes, but I'm going to say this, and I want everybody to listen to me. And if you guys want to hang up on me on this phone call, fine, you can go ahead. I'm going to say something, okay, because yesterday on the air, Ron Matlock said while he was talking that I defriended him. No. When I'm on a personal phone call with somebody, like if I'm not on the radio, on a personal phone call talking to people, when things are said, I keep it between us. I don't tell anybody else. There's other people I talk to, and I tell them, whatever you say to me stays right here. It don't go anywhere else. But a long time ago, I was on the phone with him, Ron Matlock. I want these people on the air to hear that because he says I defriended him. No, he defriended me because when we were on that phone call that day, I listened to what he talks about. I try not to talk about politics on the phone. I talk about his vacation, his family had passed away and stuff like that. He brings up politics. And when I try to say something, he doesn't let me say stuff. He tries to bring it back to his side. Then, when I made a personal opinion about something on the phone with him, he asked sorry. I didn't ask him to say sorry to me for stuff he says about other certain things. Since I did not say sorry to him, he hung up on me. And then I tried to call back. He would not take my call. I did not defriend him. He defriended me. I didn't do that.
So
he did it
are you
because
guys friends on Facebook?
I wouldn't say sorry.
Are you?
I don't know if he gets on Facebook or anything.
Well, I'll tell you what.
But that's enough. What I want to say.
I'd be happy to be the middle person, and I'll invite you guys out, and we could go hang out together, and we could well work this out because I think that politics is not worth losing a friendship over.
He calls me fine. I did not defriend him. He did because as soon as I said I will not say I'm sorry, he hung up on me. Would not return my calls. So that's fine. But now I want to talk about the tobacco and alcohol because I smoke cigarettes. Okay, very little now because in 2024 I had a minor stroke.
Yep.
And I was in a hospital. Well, when you're in a hospital, you can't smoke. Okay, fine.
Generally not.
I'm not one of I'm not one of these that has cigarettes in my shirt pocket every minute everywhere I go. And then when I had my deal last July, I was from July 9th to September 1st in a hospital, everything. Never smoked. Okay. I'm trying to quit. Okay, honestly,
I'm
tough. Trying to quit.
It's tough.
It's like it's a habit. But the thing is when I'm out filling places or doing events or going in restaurants or I'm around people and I know people don't smoke, I don't smoke because I don't want to bother them with my bad habit. Like when I'm out doing these car shows and festivals, I leave my cigarette pack in the car. Because, I used to be when I had it on me, oh, man, light up one, or walk around, take pictures, have a cigarette in my mouth. No, I don't do that no more. But now when I was teaching an academy, which I'm done with them now, I'm not doing it no more, I had a guy that could not shift a truck. And I did have a cigarette by him, I think, one time, but not close enough. So he got fed up with me because I'm being kind of stiff on him because he's not double clutching the truck like he's supposed to. He complains to the office. Now, he's a welder, works in a building smelling all that welding stuff all day. He says, I got sick. I need credit for class because Mike was smoking next to me, made me sick.
Oh.
And he was in a weld shop. And then... So when he came back,
how long
our
you
other
been smoking
instructor
for?
is with me.
How long you been smoking for?
I'd have never smoked if. Guess what would happen? You know the reason I started smoking?
What's that?
Because when I was a kid in school, and in junior and senior high school, I was pumping gas at a gas station, which was $46.9 a gallon.
Yep, full
we'll
service.
Never see that day again.
Full service.
And we had to sell cigarettes. We had to check their oil. We had the oil cans were cardboard, and you punched the thing in it. The old-fashioned gas stations.
Yeah. So how long ago was
we
this?
Had to sell. Oh God, 77, 70.
So you've been smoking for 50 years.
75, somewhere around there. But I didn't smoke. I wasn't one of these, cigarette in my mouth every minute. But what got me to smoke was because we had to sell cigarettes. And one day there was a pack opened up, and I took went out and smoked it, and that's what started it. But now, before me and my wife got married, I quit for almost a whole year. And then our minister that was coming to our house to marry me and her, I got nervous. And then all of a sudden, boom, I had a cigarette. I almost went a whole year without smoking.
It all goes down to marriage.
Now, drinking.
Don't get married, folks. Otherwise,
Now
you start
those-
smoking.
No. But now the e-cigarettes or those things that the smell that comes out. My family doctor told me one time those things are worse than smoking. But the thing is we had one lady that was in our driving academy. She was doing that in that truck, and our policy at the academy was no smoking, no drinking, or water or food or anything in the trucks when you're in class. And she was doing that E thing, and it has a weird smell. And when I would get in a truck, it kind of gave me a headache. And, all I said, I just pointed at the sign to her next day. I says, you know what? You've got to stop this thing inside the trucks. I says, it's not bothering me much, but I can't smoke in the truck. And if I can't smoke in the truck, I don't think you should do that. But the thing is like restaurants, I believe, like the restaurants, they used to, how many times the place in Portage, we used to go and eat breakfast. Okay, you walk in there, okay, you had to go all the way to the back for the non-smokers, but the smokers would be in the front.
Yeah, it's tough to regulate indoors, and I think now at this point you just have to. You're probably going to go non-smoking, and people will, if they want to smoke, they smoke outside. So,
but the thing is like me, I've been the way I have been. I've got a bad habit of that. Okay, I'm going to admit it.
Well, good.
But the thing is if I'm standing next to you or anybody, and I don't know them, I'm not going to have a cigarette in my mouth because I respect that person because I don't know. They don't, because like one time I was standing next to a person and we're talking, and I respect people. I won't light up a cigarette right in front of a person. He says, you mind if I light a cigarette? Like, no, go ahead. But did I light one up? No, because I was busy doing other stuff. But I respect people and things, like,
well, here's the thing. We have another. I think we have another caller or two coming up. So here's what I'll tell you. So when you and Ron want to make up, I will buy lunch. Okay. So you just name the place. I'll go there, hang out, and we're gonna make this right because you can't fight over this stuff. Life's too short. So have Ron call me. Ron will call me. Well, you got to be quick because we got other callers.
Okay. I still classify him as my friend.
We're good. You're just having an argument.
I won't defriend him. If he's hurt, if I see him walking in the parking lot of Strax, which I've seen him many times, he parked too close to me. I couldn't get out of my car because of his car. Okay, but if I see that person, Ron Matlock, laying on the ground hurt, buddy, I'll be right there to help him. I mean, love your enemies.
He's not your enemy. You guys are just having a disagreement. It's fine. You'll be fine.
No. But I mean, you might hate a person, but guess what? If that person's hurt, needs help,
absolutely.
I'll be there.
We appreciate
and everybody just have a nice day, and just have a safe day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trucker Mike. We appreciate it, and the fact he's got the addiction to smoking. So we'll go to the next caller. Maybe it's Ron. He wants to apologize. Go ahead, caller.
Well, you know what I usually say? Well, when my wife comes home and I get home before work from her, and she goes, "Have you been drinking beer?" You know what I typically say to her?
Nope. What do you say?
I plead the fifth.
Well, you can't plead the fifth. You don't want to get in trouble that way.
I just plead the fifth.
And what does she say to that?
Well, she's like, "You're a liar," and I'm like, "No, I'm not lying. I just plead the fifth." And she's like, "You're a lying little rat." I'm like, "No, I just plead the fifth."
It's afforded to you by the Constitution.
It is. Yeah, you're right. It is. It is. And every question she asks me, I just plead the fifth.
Does it keep you out of trouble? Do you guys still sleep in the same bed?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, then then it's
keeps me
effective
out of
use of
trouble.
it.
Yeah, I don't get arrested. I mean, no, it gets me out of everything. I love it.
I don't want anyone to get arrested. That's bad.
Yeah, no, you don't want to get arrested for lying, and stealing and all that kind of stuff,
That's considered bad stuff. So what besides your wife, did you have any opinion here on e-cigarettes or drinking or anything else, or what? What you got? You talking about plead the fifth for?
Those e-cigarettes, that's got to be the nastiest damn thing I've ever seen. Those people blowing that big puff of smoke out. I mean,
I don't get it.
If you're going to have a smoke, just go have a smoke, or go have a cigar or something, But, yeah, those e-cigarettes, big cloud of smoke, it's like, holy crap, man, what'd that come out of,
Is some cigar smoke considered smoking? And I know it's a weird question, but you really don't inhale it. You're not supposed to, at least, a cigar smoke. So is that considered smoking? I don't know. It's not as bad. I can't think it's as bad because you're not inhaling, but still putting something like that, I mean, it's just not great. But, I mean, I can't say that I haven't smoked a cigar or at least tried to. Do you smoke cigars?
Well, at least, I mean, once in a great while I do. Maybe once a year, maybe. But I think they smell good.
Yeah, they do. I actually like when my friends do smoke. I usually walk through it just like, oh, that smells pretty good.
And I will agree with you. Tap beer is the most disgusting thing on the planet.
What beer is that? I'm sorry?
Tap. Draft beer out of a tap.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. I don't know how people could do it. We go down to Florida and you go to the old fogey bars and they're like, oh, drafts are $1. And I'm like, I'll take the $4 bottle.
That's exactly it. They're like, well, it's cheaper. I'm like, that's great, but I don't know what especially if you haven't been in a place for a long time or if it's foreign to you, I was like, I can't do it. But it's like I said, I don't drink beer a whole bunch not many times, but every time I do, it's a bottle. Yes, I'll take the bottle. It's better than getting a beer that comes out of a tap that's not been cleaned. So anyways.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm
glad we're solving the world's problems this morning.
Pretty gross.
What's that?
Yeah, I said, but I do think weed smoking's pretty gross, though.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but it's
I've never done it, but man, you smell it in the hotel hallways and crap, and it's like, really, you got to do that inside a building, people.
I mean, it's not even in the
hotel.
Forget about it. Forget when you just go to an intersection and it's so bad. Like that's when you know it's really bad. Like I'll sit at an intersection and you've got your air on, and all of a sudden you're smelling it. It's like, okay, well, someone's got something going on, and I mean it's. Some people say, well, it's safe, and that's great. But, I mean, it could be safe if you went at home and just did it. But now I got you in a car, and if I'm smelling it in a different car, then I've got to think that it's pretty more intense than here. So, I don't know.
So
hey, look.
What time do you have the NIPSCO guy on?
7-ish, probably just a little bit after 7. So, yeah, you got questions?
7.
I got questions.
Well, yeah, so do I. My power was out for about 12 hours in South Dyer.
Yep.
And in Mid Dyer, where my dad lives, he was out for almost 36 hours. He just got it on yesterday evening at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions is just like, look, there's only so much you can do. And then there's probably certain situations that are more difficult. Like I was reading reports in Chesterton and Valparaiso where they had entire poles that were basically knocked over. So when you have a pole that's completely knocked over as opposed to, trees on a wire, but if trees are on a wire, I'm assuming they still need to get, they de-energize the wire, then they got to get the tree company out there to cut it, and then they got to put it back up. So there's probably a different thing as opposed to just a squirrel that, that bites into something. So we'll find out. Let's see what he has to say.
I'm not crying about it because that was probably the worst storm I've ever witnessed or been in got to be 20 years.
It was pretty bad. I was driving down Ridge Road heading west, and all the streetlights went on. It was shortly, I think it was just after noon, I think it was. Everyone's lights are on. I'm going, man, this is really bad. And then the 4 o'clock one, I was in my office in Munster, and I could see over the lake, so you could see it coming in, and I'm like, this isn't going to be good at all. So, yeah, it was pretty bad. Wind was pretty intense, and look, power is going to go out. And you're thankful. I will tell you, it was interesting at my house. Like my wife's like trying to reheat something. I'm like, well, that's a microwave. She wanted to get into this. Like, well, there's no air. And, like there's a lot of things that we, for instance, right now are enjoying electricity. And then when it goes away, you're like, ooh, that's, it's a lot different, and so it's a balance, and this is more going to be educational, hopefully, for everyone than anything. There's no criticism, because quite honestly, I know a lot of people that work for NIPSCO, and it's always not as easy as what people think it is. Then there are some people that are more susceptible than others that go out, but over time, I'm sure that gets worked on. So it's 6:59. I know we have to kind of go to a break here, right? Or do we not? I don't know. The boss is telling me what to do here. We're going to a break, so I'm going to go to a break, and hopefully on the flip side, we're going to talk to NIPSCO.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up, apologizes, and welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Come to Fox Point Saturday, August 8th for an unforgettable night of classic soul and funk. Solid Ground Band opens for Shining Star, a stunning tribute to the magical music of Earth, Wind, and Fire. This special August 8th concert is free. Bring your appetite and enjoy our bar and delicious local food. Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is just minutes from I-8094 and parking is free. Visit foxpoint.org for details. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad.
Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
And good morning, everyone. It's 7:02 here, listening to WJOB in the morning with Dan Repay, and I come on occasion on Thursdays, and we try to talk about a whole bunch of things. If you weren't on early this morning, I had a heck of a morning with a dog that decided to have a different idea of my morning, and so I forgot all my talking points, but yet we've ended up on e-cigarettes, and Ron and Trucker Mike are having a disagreement, but they still love each other. And, that's what we've talked about this morning. I believe, and I'm pretty sure we have our friends NIPSCO. Mr. Rick Kalinsky will join us here to talk about some things dealing with NIPSCO and the storms and what they do with it and how they deal with it. And so is Rick on the phone? I think he is. Is he here? Is this Rick? Rick?
Can you hear me? It is Rick, if you can hear me.
I can hear you. This is modern technology. This is great. Who would have thought that I would ever host a radio program and you would be calling? Not me.
How about that?
Not me.
How about that? Instead of going down the street and knocking at your door to see if you want to come out and play some football.
Play wiffle ball, football, swim. This Rick. By the way, Rick, I had your title and I left it at home, so you got to tell the title. Then we'll give brief back history of us, and then we'll ask you fun questions. It'll just be me and Adriana, so just asking you questions about NIPSCO, and then when you're tired of dealing with us, just hang up the phone and go to your next meeting, because I'm sure you got a bunch of them today.
Yeah, no, happy to join you, Dan. Rick Kolensky, been with NIPSCO for 15 years. I lead our public affairs and economic development department. So title is Director of Public Affairs and Economic Development for NIPSCO.
Nice. See, I had it. I just didn't want to screw it up, because of one time I had someone's title and I did it wrong, and then I think they got mad at me. So, but I know you weren't going to get mad at me. Rick and his family grew up about like 7 houses down from me in Schleicher, which is the south part of Hammond, and Rick has gone on to be the man at NIPSCO. I mean, not the person, but one of the people, and he's very involved in a lot of different aspects of NIPSCO. And as I was sitting in the darkness on Monday, which was fine, so were 60,000 other customers, right? I mean, that's what it was. I was watching it. It went from 7,000 to 20,000, then it went to 50, and I go. And so my wife goes, well, how long do you think it'll take? I go, well, there's about 59,000 other people ahead of us. I said, so we're just going to, lock in here. And we went and visited places with air and electricity, and it came back on, like I said, 8 to 10 hours earlier. But so you guys have been busy this year. I mean, this summer, starting in June, I think it was June 10th. I'm almost soon. It was June 10th where the tornado went through Maryville/Gary area off of 61st. Then you had the microburst in Griffith/Highland. What was that? Just a couple weeks later, and then this storm where you have tornadoes that were just to the west of us, but you still had some effects of in some people. In of course you have the modern day meteorologists and the at-home kits where they were saying it was 90, 100 mile per hour winds. And I always learned something from you when you very first said it was, you're like, those storms are okay when there's no leaves on the branches, but when the leaves on the branches, it causes more trouble for you because the wind doesn't get quite through the trees and trees start to topple. So how does NIPSCO deal with it, and how have you been dealing with all these, quote, emergencies? Because I got to think this has been one of those outlier years.
Outlier year is a perfect thing to say, and I think I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, you've been busy here recently, and really all year, quite honestly. Outlier year is a perfect way to say it. We have never. I've been here for 15 years, and I have never seen a season like we have. Right, even if you go back into the springtime. I want to say maybe April or so, there was a very large tornado that came through Newton County, through Jasper County. It knocked out a huge one of our assets, generation assets, a very large solar farm. Really, you could see from aerials where their path just went right through the solar farm. It's interesting to see. Not a good thing, of course. We're still, getting that back online and making the right repairs. But you're right. Typically, a year we see what we would call maybe 3 to 4 significant episodes or storms that impact maybe 20 to 30,000 people or more. Dan, we've seen 11 this year that have come through and created what we call a storm event, meaning all hands on deck within our contract, everything that we do, all of our bargaining unit employees need to be on site, need to be, based upon our agreement, need to be working. We can talk a little bit about what that looks like, but really 64,000 people out this starting Monday. And I was listening and I heard your last caller who mentioned Dyer. I think he lives in Dyer, and then he referenced, I think, his parents. Well, my parents were out in Dyer as well, and they got back not last night, but the night before at 11 o'clock as well. They were out for probably about that 36-hour time frame as well. And I also, I don't appreciate it, but I appreciate him understanding and saying that I drove through there as well, that I'd never seen so much damage. That's Pheasant Hills and Dyer where my parents live. But it's been an unprecedented year, and there are so many issues that can cause outages in a storm-related episode. But wind and tree damage is probably the most the most pertinent thing that we deal with, right? And you have to look at the response. So, a lot of people think, okay, the storm came in on Monday at 2 or 3 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. Hey, come on. How come I'm not, I haven't maybe seen some people picked up yet.
I haven't seen a NIPSCO.
Right?
I haven't seen a NIPSCO truck in my neighborhood.
Well, we get that, Dan, right?
I know.
And here's what you have to understand is we have to assess the damage too. And you have to, the one thing that we always lead with, and, it doesn't compromise, restoration times, because the number one thing is safety, right? The safety of our employees, the safety of our contractors. We'll talk a little bit about that in mutual aid as well. But you have to get out and send people to look at the damage, understand, and what really that is a combination of our operations team and our engineering team that go out to the areas that are hard hit. They try to do that, ASAP, and it's tough. It's tough in the evening where you lose some visibility. It's also tough if you think about Monday, and I'm using Monday as an example because it's fresh, but a lot of storms happen this way. You get that first initial storm that comes through, it causes some major outages, and then what happens later, Dan? 3-4 hours later, you get another storm and some wind that comes through. It wasn't as heavy as the first one, but that again then pushes back. You can't get out and send folks to restore and start doing things when you have storm and other weather that follows it as well. Again, safety. We got to make sure that we're safety. We want to make sure our workers come home to their family safe every night when they're done with their work. And believe me, they're putting in the time and effort. But to talk a little bit about that, right? And go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, like, so it exactly happened that way. You had the storm just afternoon, and then you had another storm around 4 or 5 o'clock, and you can't necessarily have people out there with bolts of lightning hanging around, up in the sky in a bucket truck. But so when the power goes out, do you guys have a center where it goes, okay, we lost power we'll use your parents, by the way. I hope your parents are doing well. In Pheasant Hills. I mean, do you know like where that outage is, or do you wait for the calls, or do you wait for the residents to sort of say, hey, look, my power's out? I don't know how it looks. I report the outage. I reported the outage when we had ours, but like, do you guys already know sort of kind of what's going on out there?
Yeah, we have a good indication, and a lot of it is driven by calls and understanding of where we're hearing that people are out of service. When you put those calls together and you understand the magnitude in the general area, we have some modeling where we understand where the issue is, what could be the source outage, right? A lot of times you'll have, and I'll explain a little bit about our restoration, you'll have, 3,000 people out in a particular area. The first thing you're going to do is make sure that you're checking that substation, that is your central nucleus of electricity. Make sure that's in good operations. Then you're going to check your larger distribution lines that maybe feed that subdivision or that area. And that's what our guys do. They're going to go down and they're going to look at it. They're going to make sure that, is there a wire down? Is there a pole down? Is there a bad transformer? And then as they make those repairs, right, I always tell people, is your entire neighborhood out? And they say, yeah. And I say, well, that could be a positive thing, because it could be a simple fix of a line that might be bringing back 1,800 customers. Now, if your neighbor is on and you're out, or maybe your other neighbor to your left or your right is out and one is on, you have a smaller outage typically, which we have to make sure before we fix that maybe 3, 4, 20 home outage, that all of the larger distribution lines that are feeding that entire area are in good order, right? That we have electricity there, because we can go and we can fix that 20-person outage, but in a larger scale outage, you have to make sure you tie in all your larger infrastructure before you get to your smaller, we call it hand fighting or onesie twosies, right? You get right into the granule, home or two. That those are the last people, unfortunately, to get picked up. But it makes sense. You have to tie in the system before you do that.
Well, then that's what happened in my neighborhood. I could just use my example. Is that like we've never lost power, and everyone always thought, you're close to the hospital, and I don't know if that's true or false or folklore or whatever it was. But what happened with ours was when we went out, I'm like, well, the good news is our whole neighborhood is out. And so then it was determined, I talked to someone and they told me that it was actually and I'm going to use a word that that's what he said, was a main line that fed the entire area from the substation. So a tree had fallen on it. So they needed to, A, take care of the tree, and then B, take care of, everything else that you guys have to do to put it up. So, and then it went back on, and I'm like, all right, cool. Because it was, I think, like I said, it's 500 people that were impacted by that outage, generally. So it's, by the way, did your parents call you and go, hey, look, I'm out of power, or no?
I had to run over the generator, Dan. You got to help them out always, right?
I understand that. They're like,
gas.
I know someone.
My parents, yeah, they don't get out as much as easily as they used to. So that's what you do. They turn the clock, right? They took care of us, and as they get a little older, we do the same. But you mentioned it, 66,000 customers out. As of this morning, we have about 500 customers, and those are the stragglers that are still impacted, and that's about, I'd say, about 72 hours, right? So, it's challenging. We appreciate customers' patience. I think most everybody, and again, I heard your caller as I sat on and listened to join, the weather has been incredible this year, and it creates challenges. There's no doubt for us as a utility. We're hoping that this is an outlier year, but I got to tell you that we have a lot of resources in the weather world, I guess I would say, right? And a lot of folks that even are on our team that specialize that, and they study it, and we use outside resources to predict things. And it looks like, we could be seeing more of this, unfortunately, over the next few years of the type of weather that we've seen this year. I mean, it seems to be that what I've heard is kind of tornado alley, so to speak, that used to be a good 300-400 miles south of us is starting to shift up a little bit north towards kind of the Chicagoland area. So, let's hope that they're meteorologists like we see sometimes on TV, and they're wrong. But we have started to see some science behind that we're getting shared that information. So we're going to continue to do a lot of the proactive things that we've done in the past, but making sure that we're doing planned tree trimming in areas where we see trees that very well, when you have a storm, could come down in the lines, that there's at least a 25-foot clearance between, lines and trees. And I know we have a lot of listeners. If you see areas, call it in to NIPSCO and let us know. While we do monitor our circuits, we look at them all the time. We can't see everything. There's no question about it. And so, I'll give an example. If I have had a couple communities reach out to me over the last couple weeks and said, hey, I'm getting a lot of input from my constituents that this particular area is losing power. Well, I appreciate that. My team in public affairs, we manage those relationships with mayors and council members and town managers. We'll go out and we'll audit that area, and we'll look at it, and we'll see, hey, does there need to be some planned tree trimming there to really help create some reliability in this area? And we've made some nice improvements there. We'll look at that circuit and say, hey, is there a slight upgrade that we can make? Can we add some reclosers? Can we do some different things to help support reliability? We're always looking to improve our system. Don't get me wrong. But there are areas that our customers can point out to us, and we take that seriously. So for the listeners who are on, I encourage you to make sure that if you see areas in your neighborhood where you think trees could be an issue, let us know. And I'll tell you really quickly to go a little bit more on that. While we do plan tree trimming, we get people that will call and that will say, hey, I've got a tree that, I think really needs to be cut because it's going to impact the power lines. Well, Dan, we'll get out there and that tree's 50 feet, 60 feet away from power lines.
Right.
What typically happens is somebody got a quote on it, they didn't want it, and they said, hey, you ought to call NIPSCO, maybe they'll take it down. And so we have to be conscious of how we spend our dollars for our rates, of course, but then we'll also get trees that really do need to be cut back, do need to be trimmed, do need to come down. And Dan, I will tell you that there are customers, there are property owners that will tie themselves to that tree, and not literally, but
Rick, you're preaching to the choir.
They will fight us tooth and nail.
Rick,
yeah, and so It's a balance. Let's just say it that way.
And that's it. I mean, and we partner with my day job, Little Cal Commission, and you on Hart's Ditch, and we sort of had some exchange on that. Is like, we know that the power lines, if you're in Munster, for instance, the power lines run behind the houses along Chestnut and now I can't remember the other name. I think it's Foliage. And we know that it's there. And what people sometimes don't understand is they're like, well, just cut the tree. I go, all right, well, we're in a river, it's on there. And I said, the last thing we want to do, and we have to be careful about, is to drop that tree and to drop it right into the power lines. Now, we're doing that, and we've talked about it, and we're going to continue to do cutting the trees, not only to protect the bank and the river that we do, but we know what you do, because we actually had a pole that we thought was leaning a little bit too much, and we called you out there, and your team came out there, secured it, reinforced it so that it wasn't going to fall. And that's what you have to do. But you're right about the trees. It's not funny. It's sort of, it is funny, because it's like, people are like, well, wait a minute, you can't cut this tree down. I'm like, all right, but if I don't cut this tree down, then A, it could either block the river, or B, in your situation, it's going to knock out a power pole, and about 500 of your neighbors are going to be less than excited about you keeping that silver maple tree that was planted on a whim 30 years ago. So I get it. I get the trees, and we work with your other contractors, because we have a lot, Little Cal, not that I'm here representing them today, but we know we have a lot of land, and a lot of our land has a lot of your utilities running through it. And your contractors come to us and say, hey, look, sign the permission slip. We can cut this. I know right now they're working in Black Oak right now on cutting back some trees. So, like, besides the NIPSCO employees, you were touching on it earlier. Do you have contractors? I mean, do you have people on the call?
Absolutely. So we do. We work closely with electrical contractors for our daily, right? Certain jobs that are planned work. We have a lot of strong relationships with, contractors, local contractors, regional contractors. When we have a situation like we had Monday, everybody stops their work, and the contractors support restoration. And what's unique in our industry as well is, if you have a major event like we did, we can also call in what's called mutual aid. So what that is other utilities, usually regionally within a few states, if they're not impacted, if they don't see, a weather forecast that's going to impact them in the next couple of days, they will send crews up to support our restoration as well. So a lot of our sister utilities, not companies that are owned by NiSource, the NIPSCO parent company, but other utilities will come in and help each other. And we do the same thing, right? If there is a disaster, tornadoes in other areas around the Midwest, we will send, 20, 30 crews, making sure first and foremost that our things are good in our backyard, that we don't anticipate any major weather. We don't have any current outages, but it's really a good agreement within the utility industry where we help each other out. So pretty interesting. I know a lot of people don't know that, but we had some contractors up here, and sometimes there's issues where when a storm comes through, it's pretty widespread, right? So sometimes everybody's kind of trying to take care of their own backyard as well. So not always is that available, but when it is, we try to lean in, and we appreciate other utilities supporting us.
And I think you mentioned it before, is like you have other projects that you do. I mean, I will say specifically for our Kennedy Avenue Bridge project, you guys were in the midst of relocating lines. I mean, that was just a part of what needed to happen. And when things like this happen, whether it's the tornado that happened in Maryville, the microburst, you have to pull off, and your contractors have to pull off of that job and go there. And so when they give you updates and say, well, we're a little bit delayed, NIPSCO, I'm like, well, I get it, because NIPSCO had to take care of the 50, 60,000 people that lost power. And that's just not our project. I mean, you guys have projects all the time. You have road widenings, you have bridges that are being put up, you have new subdivisions that are being added. And it's not like you sit around waiting for storms to happen, or waiting for power outages, or someone to hit a power pole. There's always projects that are going on that are, and I know you guys are going through an upgrade, and I don't know if you outsource that upgrade or not, but I know I saw it go through South Hammond, where you put, I don't know what they're called. You probably know the project. It's the super big pole that I guess, reroutes the power when something goes down to try to circumvent, or isolate a certain problem area. But it's something that people don't realize. That's why I laughed a little bit when someone, when do you think we're going to come out? I go, well, there's quite a few people in front of us. So it's interesting to know that. Any other big capital improvements? Because I've got some questions that I can't let you go without. And one of them is going to be data centers, because I really. I want to talk about data centers. I want to talk about data centers if we're done with storms, and when I think we are. I think people have an idea. So your general rule to people is, hey, look, report something. If you see it, if you see a problem, a tree, not just because you want to take it down because it puts shade on your pool, but if it's really growing into the trees, you'd like to know about it. There's probably, I would imagine, a way to do that online to report that problem. As opposed to having a call. So do that.
Absolutely. I'll just close by saying you hit on something. We are constantly upgrading our infrastructure. When you think of communities like, Hammond, East Chicago, Munster, you even think of, you can go anywhere. I know I'm thinking of WGLB territory, but you think of, communities that are older, that were built out maybe in the 40s, 50s, 60s, right? We're continuously replacing poles, upgrading our infrastructure. That is needed. Absolutely. You mentioned something really quick too on technology. We have these larger poles that you might see. They look almost like maybe communication poles. They're larger towers that look like poles, maybe 70, 80 feet high. What those allow us to do now is wirelessly basically switch over, circuits. So in other words, if one circuit does go out, what we can do is tie into another circuit and pick up those customers while we make the physical repair and then bring it back on the normal grid or the normal distribution line. So there's a lot of technology that we are implementing in our systems that allow for better reliability and service to our customers. Always looking to do that. And we're obviously making those investments, but we're being conscious of our costs and our rates too. I think that's extremely important. Our weather has driven up a lot of that too. I think people realize the cold winter that we had coming out. We heard a lot about our rates, and we understand that. A lot of that was weather related, but we continue to spend dollars to upgrade and provide customers the best service that we can. So again, appreciate the patience when we do have storms, when we do have outages, when we do have interruptions. I can promise you as a representative of the company that we are doing our very best to safely restore our customers ASAP, and again, pull all resources we can to make that happen. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about storms. But Dan, data centers, go ahead, open us up.
I mean, here's my thing, and everyone that's listened to my program before, it drives me up the wall. I mean, actually, the internet drives me up the wall, is because people start thinking that they know everything about data centers. That's what's going to happen. So let's put the situation here. We already have a data center that's going. Well, Hammond's already got a data center. Portage has one. Hobart will soon to have one. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the law is, or the rule is, that the data center must have a source of power outside of that of, say, my house. So it's not like you're choosing power between the house on Holly Lane in Munster and the data center that is in Hobart. How does that work? So if I'm a data center and I want to locate in, we'll just say Hobart, what do I have to do if I'm a data center?
Great question. And I will say that every state, every company, every utility company is different. There's a lot of models, and we're starting to see people kind of really tie into kind of what we're doing or come up with a model that really what NIPSCO is doing. First and foremost, the data center use is immense. And I'll open up by saying, from an energy standpoint, we as NIPSCO have really been privileged to serve some of the largest industrial users really in the country here in Northwest Indiana. When you think of U.S. Steel, when you think of Cleveland Cliffs, BP. Yep. For perspective, BP uses 200 to 250 megawatts on a daily when they're pumping, when they're going. And I'm estimating, I think could be off a little bit one way or another, but that's the last number that I remember hearing from our account representatives. When you think of the data center in Hobart, that once fully operating and moving forward, that would use about 5 to 6 times that amount of power. So two things, when we started being approached by data centers 2-3 years ago, we had our leadership at NiSource, Lloyd Yates, Vince Parisi, our NIPSCO president, two things. We are not going to hinder reliability of our existing customers to bring on data centers, number one. And we are not going to shift any of the cost burden to our existing customers to serve data centers, number two. Those are two core principles. So any data center that comes in is under a special contract with NIPSCO. And what that means is you have to pay every bit of it, full incremental cost of new generation, transmission, distribution, substation, that it would take to serve that data center. The new lines that would come in would feed specifically that data center, whether we're running a line 4 miles away or coming off an existing 345, teeing it, or a substation. They have to pay for every bit of that. If there's generation that we have to go out and procure in the market, if we have to build out for a long-term play generation, what that means, Dan, if you think about the Hobart project is Amazon Web Services, AWS. They're going to pay billions of dollars for the costs of what it's going to take for us to service them. And we make sure that we safeguard that, and that's why we separated really that particular expense on what's called NiSource Generation Company, which is Genco, and we separated. We literally ring-fenced that investment from our existing customer base, taking away all the risk from our customers. The best part about that, Dan, is part of that and the fees that they have to pay, we've structured it in a way where they have to give back towards our system and our existing customers. So currently we have 2 active signed large data centers. When I say large scale, I'll say 200 megawatts or more. And that's through Alphabet, which is Google, and AWS, and this is all public. And once they are in full operation, and this number will grow over time over the next 2, 3, 4 years, we will be able to give back $1.4 billion in credits to our customers because of the data center investment. And that's the way we've structured it. And we've been lauded by the governor for that. The IURC has approved it, so the regulators see the value in that as well. And Dan, to be honest, it's just the opposite of what people think in the energy world. They think, oh my gosh, my rates are going to go up because of data centers, or they have already went up because of data centers. Well, let me tell you, we have not started investing in major scale data center investment until this year. So, we would hear a lot of, concerns about our rates, and rightfully so. We want to always balance our rates. But the data centers, done correctly, will actually provide a benefit to our customers from a rate standpoint and not hurt or hinder reliability.
Well, and
hopefully that's
that's excellent. And I didn't want to interrupt one bit because I hope they cut this all up, and I hope the people out there that think, there's a lot of people, I'm not going to generalize, but there's a lot of people that think, well, it's the power is going to either be for my house or for the data center. It's not one or the other. And it's sort of like, and we've been living it as far as I've been alive. We've been living with it already. I mean, yes, it's a little bit larger, but you already have BP, you already have Cleveland Cliffs, you have U.S. Steel, you have a Mazo and Lever Brothers and Pepsi Plant and whatever other large corporation you have are large users for you. And what you're saying is, no, we're separate. This is all separate. They have to pay for it. And quite honestly, those companies that you mentioned are willing to pay for that. And I mean, they're not willing. How about that? But they're going to pay for it because they have to locate here, or they want to locate here. And that's the price of doing business. So I think your explanation is great. I have a couple of questions that are coming off the chat board, and you may have an answer, you may not. Please. So here you go. What rate will the data centers be paying per kilowatt compared to residential? I don't know if you're prepared for that one, but go for it. Is there a difference in kilowatt rate?
Here's what I would tell you is, that is a contract that we have with the data center. Our current customer base is all under tariff rate structure approved by the IURC. So in other words, a residential customer, a commercial customer, industrial customers, we have, I'm going to guess, 5 or 6 tariffs that, if, depending upon the amount of power that you use or your categorization of customer that you are under a tariff. All these will be special contracts. They are negotiated contracts. To give you a kilowatt hour,
you don't know.
I can't do that right now.
But BP has a special contract as well. I'm sure they're underneath the market just because simply they're using so much that's negotiated. I used to do that I didn't used to negotiate utility rates, but you negotiate just like a tax abatement or any sort of incentive. If you're using so much, that's you sort of get a deal generally.
You're right. And because of the magnitude of the power that they will use, that's why we're taking on that special contract rate, really to safeguard our customers, or really I shouldn't say the special contract rate, but the special contract in totality, because we want to make sure that those data centers commit to what they say they are. So if you think about the contract, they have to safeguard, collateralize our ability to build out what it takes to service them. If they walked away in 2 years before taking, any electrons, they would pay us a huge amount of money because we're not going to build out what it takes to service them and then have them walk away. So they've collateralized that. And as well, let's just say that in 10 years they walk away, something happens. Well, guess what? If you exit that contract early as well, we're going to get dollars from you to safeguard our investment and our rates and our customers as well. So that's the idea of making sure that it's ironclad, that our customers at the end of the day, whether it's today or it's 10, 15, 20 years from now, they are not impacted by the amount of infrastructure we need to build. As a matter of fact, we have essentially customers that are willing to upgrade our grid on their dime, if you really think of it that way. And that doesn't get stated enough, but the capacity that GenCo is going to build for the entire grid is going to provide stronger reliability and better response for our customers as well, which is positive.
It's your way of clawing back, just like municipalities through development agreements have the ability to claw back and say, look, if you don't do what you said, then you're going to owe me X, Y, or Z, and we're going to get our money back somehow, some way, or our investment. So two more quick questions, and I could probably answer some of them. While you're replacing poles, why don't you go underground instead of doing it aerial? The cost up front is enormous, but there's there's benefits. But I mean, my answer quickly, but you're the NIPSCO guy, is there's pluses and minuses to being underground. Yes, sightly, probably less impacted by trees, but I will tell you, when you have to bore and do utility lines underground, that causes a problem when there's something else that happens underground to try to dig up and try to find that. But I'll let you handle the aerial over the poles. Why aren't we doing more underground utilities, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, you're hired. You covered quite a bit of it. But truly, you're exactly right. The cost to go underground is immense, whether that person acknowledged that as well or you did. But that is true. And so, we are conscious as much as we can be, of course, of making sure that we keep our costs fair to our customers and provide, good quality service. It is challenging if you think of older communities, right? If we were to go back into older communities and start burying lines, almost impossible, to be honest with you. What I think newer communities, municipalities have done well is any type of subdivision coming in, they are forcing the builder, right, the developer to go underground. Now, you're exactly right. If you have an underground, and that's good in residential areas, but when you're delivering a large distribution or transmission line, going underground is extremely expensive, but also there is failure underground. And when you fail, a circuit underground, finding it, isolating it, repairing it, you're not talking about, a 12-hour issue. You're talking about multiple days. So it's a balance. We do bury quite a bit of stuff, a lot more in the newer subdivisions or areas than we have in the older. And it's very, very difficult to go back and it is very costly to do that. So it is a balance. We do look to do that when we can. Good municipal government, for the developers themselves, really are putting ordinances together to make sure that, and when the developer has to do that, guess what? The customers don't have to pay for it at the end of the day, right? And that's the positive there.
And there's pluses and minuses to it, but I understand, and I mean, and everyone talks about it, and trust me, I wish I could do it. But those of you that haven't grown up in Hammond, Munster, Highland, Griffith, or the older established communities, there are so many pipelines underneath there that have.
There are conflicts. There's no question.
You'd be hitting and having issues all day long. The last question, and I'll let you answer it, is I think you may have mentioned something about, well, we're not paying for the upgrades infrastructure, but isn't your rate, the caller or the commenter wants to know if we aren't supposed to pay for infrastructure, then why are we? I'm assuming your rate that you go the IURC with has some dollars in it that allows for infrastructure to be upgraded. You just can't ask for a rate. Well, this is what it takes to distribute the electricity or provide it. There's always a capital cost that you want to probably build in to upgrade any system. So they were just questioning, like, why am I paying for the upgrades? Well, it's sort of like getting a new refrigerator. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah, I will be very high level, somewhat technical. As a regulated utility, we can't just bring back a guaranteed return or rate that we choose to, right? As we can only reach a ceiling of a return based upon the infrastructure and assets that we own and we put in play to serve our customers. But you're exactly right. I mean, as we upgrade our infrastructure, as we build new generation, we go and we spend those dollars and we go back to the IURC and we show about our profits and we show about our costs. And yes, there are, times when we ask for rate increases based upon the dollars we spent and to bring back a return. What I will tell you, and I'm just going to leave this at a high level, think about the federal government and some of the things that we have to deal with as utility or any business for that matter, even regulated businesses, most importantly. We essentially were planning to close our Schaefer generating station in Wheatfield by the end of December 2025, had every plan to do that. Now, before that, we invested in a lot of renewables, solar and wind in that general area. And we spent those dollars, and customers helped us, no question, through the rate structure, make those investments. And the idea is that we would have cleaner, and you need both, by the way. You need all kinds of generation assets. You can't do it all on renewables, but you have cleaner portfolio of renewables, and we can then start retiring our coal plants. Well, the federal government comes to us and tells us, well, in December 2025, you have to continue running your coal plant, 90 days. Now, we've had 3 orders and have to continue to do that. So it's a balance of trying to make sure that we stay, under the guidelines of our regulators and federal government and continue to balance, growing our system, making the improvements. It's not only making improvements in existing communities, Hammond, Munster, you go into Porter County, talk about some of the older communities there, but communities are growing too. If you think out in the South, we are building out infrastructure to meet growth of development that's happening in Lowell and Jasper County and DeMont and other areas. And as you can imagine. But think about this. We have a coal plant. We're planned. We've announced it. We have every intentions of closing it by the end of last year. We're told that we need to keep it moving forward, keep it operational. Well, if you have a car, Dan, I use this analogy. My kid has a 12-year-old car, and she tells me, hey, Dad, my back window's not rolling down anymore. So, yeah, enjoy that. Like, you're not going to roll that window down.
Good luck, kid.
It's deferred maintenance. It's no difference. It's no different than what we do with that asset. We know that asset's not going to run and meet the needs of our customers, so we defer maintenance in that asset, knowing we're going to close that asset out and we're going to retire that asset. Then we get told that we need to keep operating that asset, probably at least until the Trump, and I'm speculating here a little bit, knowing about what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, probably until the Trump administration at least is, gone. And good or bad, I know there are advocates for coal and renewables and so forth. Again, you need a mix of dispatchable and renewable assets to really meet customer needs. But think about that. Now we have to go back and we have to put money into that asset where we deferred maintenance for the last 6 months or a year. It's still operational, but there are certain things that you don't do. So we are sometimes caught in the middle of federal government and other regulation too, but we try to balance that. And I use that as an example of trying to make sure that you best serve your customers under all of the environments that we have to operate. And so just try to give a little bit of a sneak peek under the hood of some of the things that we have to sometimes shift as we continue to meet the needs of customers and truly try to balance the cost. I will tell you, we do that. We want to drive our customer costs down as much as we can and continue to balance and provide the best service we can to customers. Believe me, leadership tries to do that as much as we can. Inflation, weather, a lot of different things, just like other businesses have caused challenges over the last few years. But we're working hard to provide our customers the best service we can.
Well, in the real world, you would take that car, your daughter's car, and turn it in and not have an old car. You would get something else that is less or more reliable and less likely to break down. Last question, and you've got a bunch of emails coming in. I can hear them. I'm sure they're fast and furious. Dean Mitchell, what's the story with that? Do you have a future? What's going to happen out there at the old Dean Mitchell? Are they going to ask you to bring that back up online or no?
You know what? You may hear something, a plan here in the next couple months, but there, as you know, we knocked down the facility quite a few years back, cleaned it up a little bit. It is an old coal plant. There's so many things that can redevelop there. You know that, your world of economic development as well. People think, hey, go put a park or some residential along the lake. That doesn't typically work, right, based upon the former use, but I think we've got a plan that I think people will learn about, hopefully in the near future, pretty near future.
We'll break it on this station so we can have it. So, anyways, I've taken way too much time.
Always a pleasure.
I appreciate it, Rick. I do tell your family I said hello, and I appreciate it. You're welcome anytime, and thanks for the knowledge.
Hit them straight, Dan.
All right, man. I'll try. You too. We'll see you.
Bye.
Goodbye. That's Rick Kalinsky from NIPSCO giving us all kinds of information about storms, data centers, and rates and capital improvements and all the fun stuff. They'll probably cut that up and you can listen to that again online. But we blew through a break. We probably need to take a few breaks, and we'll be back after we pay some bills.
I'm Pastor Eric Boone, pastor of the Tree of Life Church here in the great city of Gary, Indiana. The Notre Dame Credit Union. Go beyond and above to make sure that we are in position to make that greater impact. Listen, this credit union is one of a kind, and I'm looking forward to the future because I know that we will continue to do greater things together, and I'm forever grateful for a credit union like this.
Visit NotreDameFCU.com.
Hey Region, I'm T, and I grew up in East Chicago, went to college in Gary, worked out of Munster, and raised my family in Crown Point. I'm Region to the core. I created Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region. Add it to chicken, fish, pizza, eggs, and more for the perfect blend of heat and flavor. Visit RegionHotSauce.com for a complete list of locations or to order direct. Region Hot Sauce, the flavor of the region.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad.
Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Labor's District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad.
Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Labor's District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Enjoy the taste of summer at the Farmers Market at Fox Point. Every Tuesday from 9 to 1, shop locally grown fresh produce, delicious baked goods, artisanal treats, and local culinary creations. Just minutes from I-8094, the Farmers Market at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is a perfect spot to hear acoustic musicians, stretch with morning yoga, and enjoy community fun throughout the season. To see all vendors and entertainment, visit foxpoint.org. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad.
Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Labor's District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Fishing for a seafood meal without the stress or mess of cooking? Leave the work to the Strachan Van Til Seafood Department. For just $1 extra per pound, we'll fry, grill, or steam your fish with your choice of 3 kinds of breading. Try our fish and seafood dinners. Each includes a half pound each of seafood and fries, and a quarter pound of coleslaw. Want the freshest catch in town? Reel in the fish and seafood selections from your local Strachan Van Til.
And welcome back, everyone. It's 7:56 in the morning here on WJOB, 1230 AM. Is it 1420 FM, right? 14, what is it?
You got it. Hold on.
104.7. What was I thinking? 1420.
You got it.
I just put the decimal in the wrong spot. Oh, wait a minute.
It's on the, it's on your brand new graphic.
Wait, I need to do a selfie of that, right?
Well, while you're doing a selfie, I can do traffic and weather.
Oh, you do traffic and weather. Yes, we haven't done that in a while.
We need to update people, but it's just because we haven't had any updates. Currently, right now, at the Strachan Van Til Studios, it is 7:58 a.m. It is 72 degrees today. We are seeing highs of 86 degrees and lows of 66 degrees. We're going to see sunny weather and some Fire smoke will cause the skies to be hazy just a little bit, and tonight partly cloudy with a low of 66 again. Friday, highs of 83 degrees, lows of 66 degrees. Rain and thunderstorms throughout the day, humid later on with thunderstorms in the nighttime. Saturday, highs of 73 degrees, lows of 65 degrees. A shower and a thunderstorm with humidity moving into the nighttime. And then for the rest of the week, we're just seeing 80-degree temperatures as it is moving into August. So
yeah, I think if you have anything to do on Saturday, you might have to reschedule. It's looking like it's raining all day long.
Yeah.
So hopefully you don't have anything. It's too late for graduation parties, right? Usually people are done with graduation parties now. People are getting ready to go to college, believe it or not.
They're getting ready to go.
Parents are starting to get nervous because they're sending their kids away, and
the kids are just like, let me go.
Yeah, I just want to go. I hear it's a good time. Yeah. Study hard, kids, because you don't want to come back in one semester after they kick you out because you don't go to class. Go to class, study.
And then as for that traffic, if you are taking your kid to college today, 65 going north and south is looking pretty good. 80 going east and west is looking good. Maybe just a little bit of traffic on 80 going west just before Burr Street, but nothing too crazy. Just a little stop and go right there. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyway, the Dan Ryan is looking good, but the Bishop Ford right there at the connector, right by South Stony Island Avenue on the Bishop Ford, you're going to see just a little bit of traffic again going west. So that is all for your traffic and weather.
Traffic and weather. We've got, I think you have one phone call, and then we have a guest after that. So whoever this caller is.
So our guest is on the line.
We have to be brief. It's 7:59. Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
Listening to Rick's sugary corporate tones, he leaves out some basic fact when it comes to us customers. We have no complaint about the line workers. We know very well how tough a job that they get. They have no control over the weather. Trees get knocked down. They do dangerous work under dangerous situations. It's the corporate leadership. That's our complaint. I mean, looks to me as if their model for the power system here in NIPSCO land is California. I mean, California has gone down the road of renewable energy sources, and the poor customer in California is being raped by that model. And it looks to me as if NIPSCO leadership is going down that model too.
Yeah, and what's your complaint about the? And to be more specific, you're clearly the leadership. What's the complaint about the leadership? Are they making too much money? Are there too many of them? Like, what is it specifically that you don't care for as far as their leadership? Because the line workers do a lot of great work and gas, electric, everything.
They're not a part of the. They're not the line workers are not a part of the complaint. It's the bills we're getting, and the leadership is bad decisions, getting paid too much, and in the process, the customers are getting annual double-digit increases in their utility prices, and there are many people who are really suffering because of that. And when I get the communications from NIPSCO, having worked for many years in corporate America, I mean, it is just a bunch of corporate crap. And the bottom line is the average customer is being clobbered. I mean, the price of utilities in this area is pretty high. I mean, it's compared to other locations, unless you're talking California. And that's the scary thing to me, that the leadership seem to have taken California as the model for how they're going to run this place. But these guys get big bucks and then they leave, gone, and here comes another jerk. Type thing.
Well, I don't want to call anyone a jerk. I mean, look, NIPSCO is the person that provides us power. I think, Rick did a good job. I think, and for full disclosure, we're friends. And we have been friends since we were growing up. We've been friends. I mean, I grew up 7 doors down from him. We played kickball. We played wiffle ball. We've, done all that. But I wanted to bring them on because as long as they keep coming on and explaining, in my opinion, I think that's what you want. When I would say they're quote jerks, and I would say that for any company or entity, is when you stop coming on, stop talking to the public and explaining. Because look, have no business running a power or utility operation. So I'm just going by the fact of this is what the service they provide, and they have been, good by us. And I have a responsibility as a customer to be, at least conscious of my use. By the way, I should have asked them about the whole piece of paper that I get when you get compared to the most efficient house or the least efficient house. We have a competition in our family. We send it out as our efficiency rating. So I'm more efficient than others. So I have a responsibility to do what I've got to do to make sure that the power, and I'm not saying you have to turn up your air conditioning to 78. I would never do that. I know it's a great suggestion how to save money, but it's just not going to happen. It stays at 70. So you know what? I think they're a good corporate citizen. I think they do good work. We can all debate about how much the CEO should be paid, just like I could debate about how much the Matt Painter at Purdue gets paid $7 million to coach basketball. So, we can end up there, or we can end up with why is Notre Dame getting $20 million to put a patch on their uniform for football? There's always going to be a debate about how much is the right amount. And, for me, having worked with them, they've been okay. I get it. Paying bills is never fun, and there's never a right amount because I think everyone will always think that they should pay less. So I appreciate the call. I think we have.
There is no debate over the fact that a lot of people are being screwed, blued, and tattooed.
Okay.
When they get their utility.
I'm going to put that on a T-shirt, Walt. Oh, he's gone. All right. I'm sorry, Walt. Thank you. And it's 8:04, and the next caller should be Kristen Taylor from the SSCVA. Is this you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is me.
How are you doing?
How are you? I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. We had you, I think you were forced on by Phil, or maybe you wanted to come on because quite honestly, you're better than Phil is, to talk about some upcoming events. Namely, you're the person in charge of the air show this year and have been for the last several years. Is that correct?
That is correct. So my title is Chief of Events for the South Shore CVA, and we are the primary host for the Gary Air Show, which is coming up here August 21st through the 23rd.
Do you guys have any special events like with the air show? Is there a pre-party? And by the way, this is going to be your least professional interview ever that you've ever done. So I'm just going to ask you, are there events for the public that they could see them, say, practicing, or is there, what kind of events? Do they have the hangar parties, or do they just hang out at Marquette Beach? Because I went to Marquette Beach. Was it last year? It was last year or the year before.
Yeah, you were there last year.
It was a lot of fun. And I went there 2 years ago and it rained, but it's okay. Last year was
we're going to pray for no rain.
All right. So what do you got planned? Who's coming to the air show?
Absolutely. So the air show starts Friday, August 21st. We start we have Media Day at the Gary Jet Center that morning at 9 a.m. And then we are hosting for the first time a Twilight and Drone show on Friday night at the beach. So no hangar party this year. We did do a hangar party in the years past for our VIP sponsors that sponsor the show. And this year we decided to move it to the beach.
I didn't know that there was actually a hangar party. Actually, I just made it up. So I'm glad that I made something up that I didn't even know. I never went.
That's funny. Yeah, Mr. Popovich always helps us out with that. On a Friday night, we host all of the acts, the maintenance, and then our top-level sponsors. This year, adding the drone show, we decided to move everything to the beach, so it's just a weekend-long event. So this year, for Friday night, we have a few acts. We have it's called the Starlight Aerial Production Drone Show, so it is the same drone show, the same show production that does the Oshkosh Air Show, which is one of the biggest ones in the area. So they're coming out and they will do a whole show for us. We also have, for the first time, the Misty Blues all-women skydiving team who will jump at night with pyro. So that will be awesome to see. Yes, it'll be.
Are you jumping?
It'll be awesome. So
are you going to jump with them?
I am not jumping. Phil jumped last year with the Golden Knights. That was an experience to watch. But no, I will not be jumping off of any airplanes.
Okay, I had to ask.
I don't think that they allow anybody. The Golden Knights did last year, but I don't believe that they will allow anybody to jump with them.
I don't understand why you jump out of
then,
a perfectly good plane anyways, but that's just me.
You know what? My husband says the same thing because he says I'm never going to jump if I can land one properly. So
I'm with him. I agree.
Yes, absolutely. We also have Red Line air shows that will be coming in to do a night show for us on Friday. They also do some pyro, so it'll be a great show to see. And then over the weekend we have the F-18 demo Rhino team. So they will come and they are a headliner. We do not have, everybody keeps asking, we do not have the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels this year. Next year we will have the Thunderbirds again. But a demo team is just as awesome, and they will be our headliner, along with, we have some F-16s, which is the 55th Fighter Squadron. They are the same plane that the Thunderbirds fly, so they will come and do a show for us as well. And then we have some civilian acts. So we have Susan Dacey, Big Red, Eric Edgren air shows, RJ Gritter air shows. Kevin Coleman is a Red Bull Aerobatics, who we've had for the last few years, does a great job. Yeah. Ed Hamill, Bulls of Honor, the Trojan Flyers, the Misty Blues, like I said, and then we have a MiG-17 and C-130s. So it's going to be a fantastic weekend, full of awesome acts, very loud, plus we get an extra day of it on Friday.
That's cool. And I know the Oshkosh air whatever that is show just wrapped up, I think, last weekend, right? Is that not correct or something like that?
Yeah, I was correct. Yeah, it's a whole week. I was actually fortunate enough to go check it out, and it was incredible and gave me ideas to just keep increasing how we do our show. It'll be bigger and better each year, hopefully, if we continue, raising the funds for it. I do have to give a shout out to Hard Rock Casino. They're our number one sponsor. Without them, we would not ever be able to do this show. So
yeah, tell us all your sponsors, because it's a benefit, quite honestly, for the region.
70. It is. So the entire show is completely funded by sponsorship. So we have 70 sponsors. It ranges from $1,000 sponsors all the way up to $100,000 sponsors. So we could literally never do this without it, without the help of, our local businesses. City of Gary and South Shore partner together to put on the show with the help of the Gary Airport as well. And we just all kind of team up together to make it the best event ever.
Now, to give, you've been doing this for a few years, so to give the public an idea.
Yeah, this is my fourth.
Oh, how many? 4?
This is my fourth. We've been doing the air show, though. I mean, South Shore has been a part of the air show for 25 years.
How long in advance do you have to book some of these folks? Like, everyone's like, you had, you had all these, the bigger acts. It takes a couple years. Is that not right? I mean.
Correct. So I'm already working on 27. We have the Thunderbirds. We got the Thunderbirds December of last year for next year. So it's a whole year process. Most of these acts get booked out, anywhere from 18 to 24 months. So we are already working on 27 show and have already put in requests for the military for 28. So it's a year-round project. I know people get super upset when we don't have, the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels or anybody like that, but they only do so many shows a year, and we only get them every other year.
I'm not disappointed. I enjoy watching them. I enjoy all the planes that fly over when they're practicing, and then, when they're going through the Gary Airport, they seem to fly right over my house, which is sort of cool.
It's awesome. We do a practice. They do a practice show on Friday. So they'll do the whole practice run through Friday, starting at 11 a.m. You can't come to the beach to watch it, but you can obviously, watch it from above, and then hopefully everybody comes to the show all weekend.
So you just go to Marquette. The central location is Marquette Beach, or anywhere along that area. You should be able to see the show. That's center. What is that? Center stage or center whatever.
Yeah, air show. Yep, air show center.
See, look, I listened
when
the guy was talking.
Is there. Yeah, so Air Show Center is at Marquette. That is where you'll see the beach is where you'll see it, but along the Marquette between the Aquatorium and what used to be Beach Buds, which is now a hot dog stand, I'm not sure what the name of it is, that is where we will have 35 different vendors, including a beer garden. We will have, any type of cuisine you can possibly think of. It'll be there. We will have a water slide for kids. We have all the military acts will be there doing, any of their agility testing, and anything for kids to do will be right there at Marquette. We have Friday night, the gates will open at 5 p.m. The show will not start till 8. And then Saturday, Sunday, the gates open at 9 and the show begins at 11.
And you can bring your chairs, your blankets, whatever, right?
Yes, you can bring everything. If you go to GaryAirShow.com, you can see what you can and cannot bring. Anybody can bring chairs, blankets. People bring umbrellas. We don't allow alcohol on the beach unless you buy it from the beer garden, but you can bring your own food. We definitely recommend checking out all the vendors because they're all delicious and very reasonably priced. And we'll have water trucks for people to fill up their water, get, misters, all that kind of stuff. It's really a great family-friendly event. And, we hope to see everybody there. And it is a free show. We do charge for parking, but it is a free show to come in.
So what's this thing I see on social media about parking? And they're going through apps that it's really not the SSEVA that's actually selling that parking. Parking is paid for. Is it just on site only?
Correct. So it's at the gate only on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We never sell pre-advanced parking. So we have been made aware that people are doing that. There is no parking bought prior. So the city of Gary doesn't sell it. We don't sell it. The airport doesn't sell it. You can only get it on site from our parking vendor. So
anyone that thinks that they're selling a spot or buying a spot previous or before the event, you're not doing it right. Just go to the site. They'll be there. Is it cash, credit? Just making sure that everyone's prepared.
It's cash and either correct, cash or credit. And yes, we have a parking company that takes care of it all. So without that pass that they issue to you, you will not be accepted in without paying. So it is $40 on Saturday or Sunday for the day, $25 on Friday, but you can do it for $60 and come all 3 days for the weekend.
Awesome. That is great.
Yeah, so it's
and by the way, I'm supposed to remind you. You have to remind Nikki that she has. You guys are supposed to be on here on Fridays, so you got to remind Nikki that she needs to get the agreement going. So we're gonna hopefully she's listening. So she's gonna get in trouble because they asked me, well, they're supposed to have a show, and I'm like, I get a percentage if I book you. So that's the good news for me. So. Well,
we did talk about that, so I'll have to remind her when I open my door.
we're gonna get in trouble. But anything else you'd like to add? I appreciate absolutely that you're on. So just if you want to be a sponsor, is it too late, or is it too late if you want?
Well, it's never too late.
Right.
But we do have we have started already the banner process to send everything over.
Sure.
But it's never too late to be added to anything. We do our big Jumbotron TVs that we can add their logo to. They'll get shout outs all weekend from the announcers. It's awesome. So,
and how do they get a hold of you? Just in case someone is listening and said that I would like to really just give you $1,000 because I want my business associated with the air show. How do they call you, email you, tell us?
Yep. Okay, so you can email me at ktayler@southshorecva.com, or you can call me at 219-301-7752. And then our office, the South Shore CVA, is inside the Indiana Welcome Center for those that don't know.
All right. Well, I appreciate you very much for coming on. And
thank you. Also, just have to mention that we are hosting the Cal Ripken World Series next week as well.
Where is that at?
Crown Point.
Crown Point.
That'll be at the Crown Point. Yep, in Crown Point.
What age group?
It is the 11-year-old age group this year.
Nice. Well,
we have them for the next 3 years.
Oh, really? 3 years, 11-year-olds coming to Crown Point to play? I like it. I mean, having been involved.
Yeah, lots of different.
It's cool.
in lots of different countries. We have, I think it's 360 kids from all over the world. So it's an awesome event. So come check us out at Bulldog Park on August 6th or through the Cal Ripken Fields in Crown Point all week next week.
Boy, the hotels will be full and restaurants will be full because I know with 11-year-olds you're going to have parents and it's the World Series. So then you've got aunts, uncles, grandparents. They're all coming to this thing. So that's a big win for the area. That's a lot of money coming into the area from outside our region. So that's awesome. Good.
Yeah,
Any other cool ones? You guys just got done with Pro Fest kind of and Festival of Lakes.
We did.
What else are you doing? Anything?
And we just got done with the National Softball Association hosted their World Series here in the middle of July, so we just got done with that.
And where was that at?
Lots of great people. So it's all over. We had 135 teams. They play in Crown Point, Cherville, Dyer, LaPorte, and Michigan City. So yes, they were all over the place. So we had 135 teams here for an entire week. It was awesome.
Well, hotel people must love you. I will tell you that. Hotel and restaurants, because I'll tell you, that's a lot of people. And now that you mention it, my office is right by a hotel. We were wondering what was going on because the hotel was absolutely packed. So now I know.
Jam-packed. Yes. Yep, all over Northwest Indiana. We try to fill every hotel to give them all the opportunity to be at 100% capacity, right?
Yeah, I mean that's how everyone makes a little bit of money and everyone benefits from it. So, all right, well now that when you get your own show, you guys can talk about this for at least a half hour, 45 minutes every Friday. That's gonna be so exciting for you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and we will see you soon, I hope.
Yep, I will probably be at the air show.
I hope so. You better be there.
I'm gonna try. I got to check out the vendors.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you,
We
Chris.
appreciate
All right.
you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. And there was Krista Taylor and from the SSCBA special events and talked about air show and Cal Ripken 11-year-old World Series in Crown Point coming up next week. And so if you're out in Crown Point, check out that. That should be an interesting thing. We have to go to a break. It is 8:19 in the morning, and we'll finish up the rest of our day after that break. I don't think we have to take any more breaks. Maybe we talk about e-cigarettes. So we'll talk to you after the break.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at. We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for Polish? Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful of Big Frank sausage. 219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie. Who's ready for Polish?
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
And welcome back, everyone. It's 8:22. We've had a full morning here on WJLB 1230 104.7. I've got my nice little thing behind me. I'm like, this is cool. I'm professional now. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the graphic. We started off with an interesting morning talking about e-cigarettes, but followed closely there by NIPSCO and Rick Kalinsky, who is in community affairs and economic development at NIPSCO, explaining to us about what goes into responding to a storm, data centers, future plans, how that all works. I think he gave a great overview for folks, and something that I had talked about and have talked about in previous segments and episodes is, like, I think people think that it's one or the other when it comes to data centers and power supply or energy. And I think I can paraphrase it by simply saying the company, the data center, is paying for those improvements, and they pay for the distribution, they pay for the upgrades, and then there's a pretty solid contract between them, between the data center and the utility, to make sure that they don't just skip out and after they provided all that infrastructure. Although the company did pay for it. But it's not an if or it's not the residents versus data centers. Data centers have to do it. They have the capacity to add it. And so if you want to have an argument about data centers, great. I'm not opposed to anyone's opinion. All I'm just trying to do, and the last two segments that we had on the callers between NIPSCO and the SSCVA, is to inform the public. And you guys can make the decision, but what it drives me up the wall is when you just sit on whatever it is, X or Facebook, and say, well, this person said this. Well, you just heard it straight from the person themselves on how utilities deal with the pump, not the pump stations, the data centers, and how that works for them and how it works for the actual companies that have to purchase the power, that put a lot of investment in. So hopefully that was important. And Kristen Taylor from the SSCVA, in charge of special events, talking to us about not only the 11-year-old World Series, which folks are coming in from multiple countries to the city of Crown Point to play. That's awesome. That's good PR for our area and our region, and hotels and restaurants will all be well attended because of these folks, because they bring in they bring in family members and friends and everything else. But they're also talked about the air show that's going on, and that's later on in August. I don't think I host a show before that time, but I've gone the last couple of years. It is a fantastic time. It's pretty cool. Go to Marquette Beach, and you can hang out there. I hear Dave Gehrman is selling parking spots by his house over there, so you can contact him. He's only charging just a fraction of the cost. But don't buy any parking passes online. It was a joke. Don't buy parking passes. They'll be available there, and you can bring your chairs and your umbrellas and your blankets, and you go hang out and watch a bunch of airplanes fly over. Some of those folks are a little bit goofy. I enjoy flying, but I do not enjoy some of the acrobats. So with that, I think we have a caller. It's 8:26. We have just a half hour. So if you want to get a question in or just want to talk about things, you've got about 30 minutes to do so. Go ahead, caller.
Dan, most importantly, how's the golf game?
Hey, you know what? I was in an event recently, and I played really well, and then it got to the final round, and I choked. And it just drives me up. It drives you up the wall because golf is more mental than it is physical. Honestly, I choked, and that's okay to say that because it doesn't pay the bills.
People who haven't had the honor of playing around with you, and I don't blow smoke up people's backs. That Dan, you hit the ball about as high and far as almost anyone that the average guy would play with, and I always enjoyed those rounds. Obviously, this is Coos just driving around and listening to some of this stuff as a
and by the way, we still have to do that again.
Thing. Yes, let's do it in the future. I'm actually sitting behind a train on Broad Street, and I drove around this train earlier. So I bring that up because these things are here, just like the steel mills are. And that's why that's why this area exists, because of the refinery, because of the steel mills, because of the railroads, and all those things that brought us here to work. And that worked for like 100+ years, where people had jobs, they paid for the local taxes, there was all kind of ancillary business. And now we're getting into this next thing, which is either data centers or technology, Amazon warehouses. The point of it is these communities need to figure out what businesses they want to bring in to help pay for the bills of their daily bills. And you know this from the previous jobs that you've done in the one you're in now. And, I learned a lot from you and Matt Reardon, and we're going to have you back on. Matt and I are going to come back on and do a couple podcasts based off data centers and some other things and the dreaded tax situation that we're in with SB1. But the point is that communities like Munster, and for those Munster people, I've talked to a couple councilmen, they tell me that the data center is dead under this proposal. So for those people that are opposed to it, that's good news for them. For the early conversations that I've had is that they said that the people have spoken, which is fine. So my question then goes, like you have to deal with, how are you going to pay the bills then? Because right now the money that's coming in is not adequate to pay for the bills of what people are used to in Munster, the government. So when you run into Munster and Highland and parts of Griffith and others that are pretty much landlocked, Dan, what do you do to bring in additional revenue? Because every community is going to be looking for the same thing. And if not a data center, that's fine. If Munster decided they don't want it. I actually called Tommy Schmidt yesterday as a constituent. I live in Cherville, and people have asked me in the past, well, why don't you put one where you live? I told Tommy Schmidt yesterday that I am in favor of a data center if we could find a spot in Cherville. If we could find an open spot in Cherville where we can get anywhere from $100 to $150 million to help Cherville pay for its bills for the next 25 years, I think you're derelict in your duty not to look at that.
Well, I think Dave, you brought up a great point. I mean, we did Economic Development Tuesdays back in the day. And we talked about 1%, 2%, 3%, what was going to happen. And it appears, I mean, and I don't have I do have a dog in the fight, but I don't care what anyone's opinion. I'm open to anything. But the whole idea of we're going to keep reducing taxes and the reliance on property taxes, and that's fine if that's your philosophy. I'm cool with it. But as you said, how are you going to pay for services? And people say, well, you just cut the waste. It's not as easy as you think because, and I hated it, and I still hate it to this, but the argument is, well, police and fire. And I'll use Munster. You lived in Munster. I live in Munster currently. But here's the deal. So in Munster, I don't care. You against data centers, God bless you. But here's what's going to happen. You have to figure out a way to make up for that revenue. And Munster's growing, and they're still growing. They have larger, businesses are coming. I live in a new complex. So do you want to always have a volunteer fire department? I mean, that's really, like the police got a good raise and they added a couple of folks, and that's great for the police. But from a fire department perspective, you're going to run into a problem. You're starting to get bigger and bigger buildings, and you've got them. I mean, I'm in a 4-story building. Your ambulance service is going to start to become an issue because eventually people aren't going to get reimbursed on the ambulances as much as they think they can, and they can't be profitable. And when the ambulance services aren't profitable, guess what? They go out of business. So then how are you going to do that? You're either going to do it through a full-time fire department or at least a full-time ambulance side of the fire department, or you're going to have to find
and
someone
Dan,
taking a loss.
Dan, that's just one aspect of local government.
Yeah.
When you look at a macro level, and I've been trying to say this, and this is what look, it matters not to me what the local people decide. It's their area where they live. But we're not having the right discussion. It's one thing, look, we all have to make decisions. We do it every day in our personal life, and then those that run businesses do it in their business as well. You have to make tough decisions, but you have to be asking the right questions. We're not asking the right questions. We have, as a state, and I know people don't want to hear it, but just because you don't want to hear it doesn't mean it's not happening. We have basically kind of limited the revenue growth that can be brought in from the taxes. But we haven't stopped the bills, and the rate of inflation is higher than the 1, 2, 3. So you're in deficit spending. So those communities that have some open land actually have more options. But when you start getting to communities like Highland and Munster, which are basically landlocked, you only have so many ways to run more revenue. Now, one of those, and the people of Munster may want this. They may say, because you've heard some people stand up in the forum, that we don't want a data center, and instead we'd be willing to pay in a Munster income tax. But that's what it's probably going to have to come down to at one point.
And
either that or less police officers.
And that's 100%. You hit it on the head when I said I was going to say, like, that's cool. You're against data centers. That's fine. That's your opinion. You know, Erin Brockovich, you saw a couple documentaries on her, and she's great. And it's going to use all this stuff, which partially or mostly is false. But anyways, so what are you for? Because at the end of the day, and I've said that to people, I said, okay, you're against this, and well, what are we going to develop that property? What are you for? So if you're for income taxes, I'm okay as long as you put that on the record and you put that sign in front of your yard. So I'm for income tax. So if you make whatever, 200,000, 100,000, whatever you're going to make, so just take 1.5% of that and give it to the community. And then, by the way, I will tell you, it's just because taxes are separated. Then when the school comes for money, because they're going to come for money, because, I mean, I don't want to use Chicago as an example because I could go all day on Chicago's mess. But when you go for raises for all these folks, there's and you're a business owner, Dave, you know this. You give someone raise, there's additional Medicare, Social Security, there's all those other costs associated with it, insurance. That increases well. And it's like you can't have it all. And if you do want it all, you're going to pay for it all. And you're going to eventually end up with an income tax. And then our friends at the school are going to say, well, I want a referendum because I need, EADS I'm just using this example, EADS needs a new roof, or it's falling apart, or it's not technologically advanced. So you're going to pay for that too. And then eventually we're going to look back and go, well, that data center that was looking to give us $20 million a year isn't so bad. And oh, by the way, it was found out that the utility isn't the way it was told to me by certain people, or the water usage isn't as intrusive as it was. I'm not saying data centers is the end all be all, but I'm also going to tell you, as you said, how are you going to finance government? Because it's going to be an income tax.
It doesn't finance itself. So you have to, with the 1, 2, 3, and everyone loves it because 70% of Hoosiers voted for it.
Absolutely.
In the Indiana Constitution. So at the end of the day, it still comes back to this: the money that's being brought in, and people are seeing this in their daily life. That's why That's why the Democrats are running nationally on what they're calling affordability. People understand this. So everything else has gone up 10%. And let's just say you got a 5% raise. That's 5% that you're in deficit spending.
Yep.
Well, that's what's happening. So you could sit and it's pure numbers. It goes back to your basic business math class where you have a graph where your bills are going one direction and your income is the other, and it's not keeping up. So you're going to fight over 100. You're going to die by 1,000 cuts instead of taking on this from a macro standpoint. And hey, listen, the people of Munster spoke. This is a democracy. They don't want a data center.
Right.
But that's not the full question. The question then becomes, we still need X number of dollars. Where do we go get those, or where do we cut? There's three things you can do, Dan. You can either raise more money, spend less money, or do a combination of both. And most people in your daily lives do a combination of both.
And I will.
We find ourselves when things are, Go ahead.
No. I was just going to explain. I mean, and I don't think the general public understands the assessed value standpoint of these things. That's how you lower your taxes, increase the assessed value. Now, there's something that's out there that's wonderful for veterans. So if you're now a disabled veteran, you don't pay any taxes. You don't pay anything. It's zeroed out 100%. So that's great. My dad was a veteran. I have a nephew that's in the military now. I get it. That's a sacrifice I have not made. However, I mean, I get it. Politically, that's great. They pay no taxes. Now, on a grander scale, you're taking away a bunch of assessed value that now gets pushed to everybody else. And look, you
could say the same thing about churches and Munster community. We all love Munster community. They've been there for almost as long as I've been alive, and they hire lots of people. People go there all the time. It's great to have it right in town, but if you go right down Calumet Avenue, two of the biggest pieces of property are St. Thomas More, which is where I went to school and I'm a parishioner of, and the hospital. Well, guess what? Out of that prime property, you know how much taxes are paid on that? Zero.
I mean, but I will also tell you there's the argument that what kind of services do they utilize? Do they utilize the police? Do they utilize fire? They don't go to the libraries. They don't go to the.
No, that's the argument. That's the
right.
argument that you have. Well, I'm just saying, in accordance with what you're saying, we have decided that there's certain things that aren't going to pay taxes. We're okay with that, but it doesn't mean that the bills don't go. There's still bills involved. So my point is that next year is municipal races. It matters not to me who wins. What I'm going to be talking about, as long as I'm on the air or I have breath in my lungs, is that they're having the right conversation so that people can make informed decisions, and even at the national level. Look, if you're against Trump and the Republicans, that's fine. What are you for, the Democrats, and how are you going to pay for it? Maybe people will go for it. I want health care and affordable daycare. Am I willing to pay a little bit more in taxes for it? Yes. But that's what you have to then go out and say. You can't just say, I'm for affordability.
Yeah, right. I'm against
cancer. Okay, so am I.
We all are. And that's the thing. And I was actually, that's one of the topics I was going to bring up is about this whole, Fauci and his diary. And I'm like, look, honest to God, I think, at the time, you've dealt with emergencies when you don't always make the correct decision. You don't always, you can't tell the public everything that you know, because it would probably be not great. I mean, they were like, oh, we should know everything. No, you really don't want to know everything.
If the American people knew what went on in that Wuhan lab, and the type of experiments that we have done on animals and or other research to come up with future medications.
Yes.
I said this yesterday. I'll leave you with this. So I'm watching this morning with my wife, and I wake up early, and they're going over the immigration. I said this when I was on the air. If you ask the average person, do you think we should have a secure border? They say absolutely.
Yep.
Do you think we should get rid of or deport people that are here illegal? People say yes.
Yep.
And I said this. People say that, and then when you have to go do it, and you have to take a kid or a family that's lived in America for 10 years, and you have to extract them from right down the street from where you live, and you see a kid getting taken from a mom, the average person, their hearts and minds are going to say, well, I really want a border, but I really don't want that.
Well, but see,
right?
that's where I fall there too, Dave. I fall in the same thing. I'm like, look, there's in my mind, there's a middle ground. Look, if we have to have a border, absolutely. Are there people here illegally? Probably. That's been a problem for this country as long as I've been alive. But to take people that have been here 30 years, where their parents were the illegal, quote, border crossing, and the person's now 30 years old, a successful person, all of a sudden like, yeah, go back to name whatever country it is. You could Ukraine, Russia, doesn't matter. Go, well, I don't think that's really what the intent is. I don't think that's what the general public wants. And some people will say, oh, that's exactly what I want. No, I need a pathway for good people that follow the laws, that don't, do things illegally and haven't been committing crimes. I want them to have an opportunity to get here. And our immigration process, in my opinion, is messed up. So I think it shouldn't take that long.
And we need workers. If you talk to all businesses,
yes,
and I will almost say all, everyone says the same thing. We don't have enough workers or people that work with their hands. And I like what Mike Rowe and people like that are doing. Stop getting in debt, learn a trade, and I think we're doing better with that. But in this country right now, you need common sense in both parties. Look, I watched that Fauci, a little bit of that yesterday. You got a bunch of people making a bunch of money, okay, solving no issues.
Correct.
And you got both sides rooting at each other. This one's that. This bird, put him in jail. None of that's doing anything. None of that is solving any issues. You know, it was Mario Cuomo that said any jackass could burn a barn down.
Yeah.
Show me someone that knows how to build one. And we need to start building barns instead of tearing things down. And we'll get through it.
Yeah, we
Churchill
do.
Said America's guaranteed. Churchill said America's guaranteed to do the right thing after we've exhausted all other options. We're exhausting all other options.
Yeah, we are. And Dave, by the way, I didn't watch any of the Fauci thing, but just what I read. I'm like, so we're arguing. We have a hearing. We're conducting a hearing about whether it came from a lab or it was generated. Like at this point here, how about this? What we learned from this was the fact that there was a disease, whatever it was, and it impacted people, and no one can deny that. So let's learn from how we handle situations like a pandemic and deal with it and do better next time. And that's it. I mean,
you would think that's what you do in your personal life.
Right,
when you get knocked down, you figure out why did I get knocked down, and what can I do not to get knocked down again. And I think that's what we do in our personal life. But see, the reason we're not doing that is all of those senators that spoke both for or against Fauci yesterday, those are already snippets that are on their website.
Absolutely.
And they're already raising funds off of it.
Absolutely.
So it's become a business. And when it's become a business and people are making money, they don't give that up. And so we're going to have to work through that, and we are. But I'm right in the middle of Munster right now, and I'm just looking at all the things, and I'm involved, and I'm talking with behind the scenes. I don't live here anymore, but my kids do, and my grandson does, and I do business here, and I'm invested, and I care about it because it's where I grew up. And I want people to make the wise decisions. I don't want anything personally from it other than just to be the great community that it's always been. And that's why if you're a Munster resident, and this is the same for all municipalities, and I'll leave you with this, there's big race next year. And I think that what people should be asking the candidates, and you've been one and been elected as a 5th District Council person, what do you stand for? Where are you going to raise the money? What are you going to do? How are we going to pay the police officers? Because those are the things that have to be done. Whether you like Trump or hate Trump has nothing to do with whether the parks are going to get picked up or the streets are going to get paved.
I can't say it any better. If you're not for this, then tell me what you are for, and then how are you going to pay for it? That's all. Because if someone comes to
you got to come back down, Matt. Matt and I are going to do a couple podcasts about data centers, and just unfortunately, I hate to say this, yourself, myself, and Matt are going to have to talk about the 1, 2, 3 property tax.
That's okay.
More than I've ever wanted to.
I understand.
But it affects our lives.
Hey, if someone comes knocking on my door running for election, they just have to tell me what you are for and tell me how you're going to pay for it. And if you can tell me that, hey, I got you. So I appreciate it, Dave. It's 8:45. Yes, sir. We'll talk to you. Thank you for the call. Long-time host here and caller and advocate for radio and for community, Dave Kuziak. And we've got more phone calls. He must have stirred some more people up. Go ahead. Caller, go ahead. We've got you. We got about 14 minutes before I got to go and do my real job.
Nice. Hi, Dan. Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Good to hear your voice.
I'm happy to be heard, quite honestly.
Right. We all are, right?
Right.
Fauci was when Fauci was there for Bush 1. Fauci was there for the Clinton administration. Fauci was there for Bush 2. He was there for Obama. He was there for Trump 1 and 2. He was there for Biden. So
you forgot he was hired by Reagan, just so you know.
Right. That's when he first started with the AIDS epidemic. You're absolutely right. And I look at it this way, that they can't possibly put a smoke screen, this administration, on the war that in Iran. They can't possibly cover that up anymore. So let's go back to Fauci. Let's go back and, to rouse the base again. Next they're going to start, if this doesn't get any traction, they're going to start talking about the Clintons again, or Obama, or or how Biden, his last 6 months, he was brain dead. It's just classic national politics, and everyone takes the bait. Fauci, really? Look how many Republican administrations he works for. Now, all of a sudden, when things are going south in the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to resurrect him.
Well,
that he was a liar, and kidding me?
I'm not.
Was Fauci ever indicted?
Yeah, I'm not an immunologist, and nor have I have any medical experience whatsoever. But for 40-some years, he worked for this country. I'm not saying he was perfect. He may not have told the American people everything that he knew at the time. And quite honestly, there's a lot of things I will tell you in the public world that you can't say. I mean, like, would you want mass hysteria to say if he said the worst thing was going to happen and people are going to be incredibly dead? I mean, look, every one of those presidents I think that you mentioned,
that's the whole yelling.
They gave him commendations. So
here's what I think. All the administrations gave him accommodations. You're absolutely right. And Trump could have fired him.
And by the way,
he loves firing people, right?
I like Rand Paul. I do. And it's weird to say that, but I do like some of his thinking. But here's what as I read more and more into it, Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci were both on the same Blue Ribbon Commission, whatever that was, that Trump during his first term put together to battle coronavirus, right? So they were both on there. They probably had an argument, sort of like Ron and Trucker Mike are at now, and this is their way of airing their grievances. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go back to, does this help one bit the American people? Tell me how this does, because if it does, no. if I'm doing something, so we're arguing over whether it came from human made or out of a market. None of that matters to me. Zero matters to me. Like, just fix it, move on, learn from it, move on, and we need to do better. But I'm spending a Senate committee on talking about Dr. Fauci, look, he's 85. Good. All right. We'll find your person there. Now, we've got someone now that says if you get circumcised too early, that you have 10 times more opportunity to be autism. Like, what? It's almost, I want to say crazy land, but like, we need to really get to the bottom of things. And quite honestly, I like to pay less for medication. Tell me why in the United States where we have to advertise for medicines that we take. Like, I shouldn't know what this medicine does because they spend half the time on the commercial telling you all the side effects of it. So the doctor should know the medicine. You should be able to choose whether you want to listen to your doctor. I know you go to Dr. Tilak. She gives you options, I'm sure. I mean, she's in my building. Yeah, she gives you options, and you choose to do them. My doctor gives me options, and he said, here's my choices, and I made a choice. That's what it is, and then you live with it. But like, we shouldn't, as citizens, residents like that are not trained, go, boy, I want to try that pill that they've advertised 20 times on Monday Night Football because I think that's just the best way to do it. It's like, come on, like that.
The president, who was the president when all that came out. Remember, he was promoting hydroxychloroquine. He was just it's basically a malaria drug, but he was just promoting that, and lo and behold, he invested in the company, right? And it's little things like that. If you want to resurrect one thing, you got to bring them all up. But I look at especially today. So it's okay to bail out a corporation. It's okay to give them tax breaks. It's okay to give corporations subsidies. But the moment you give somebody a WIC card or an EBT card, we have to get rid of that because those are entitlement programs. Why don't they call government corporate bailouts and tax breaks and insider trading? Why don't they call that corporate welfare? Right? So to call one thing one and and then you want to take care of the little person that's struggling, all of a sudden that's capital. That's socialism, but it's okay to bail out corporations.
Well, I will.
That's not socialism.
No, and I will.
Right?
I will tell you this, and I think we have another phone call, but I have to say that, like, I do think, like, when Doge and Elon Musk came out with Doge, I was excited. Honestly, I was like, man, this is going to be a one way to clean up some problems, because there is problems with the EBT, and there are problems with the tax structure and how things get paid, and there are abuses. And if anyone thinks that there isn't, there is. Trust me, my mom worked at the trustee's office.
There is, most definitely.
People take advantage of the system. Now, I was like, wow, we're going to fix this. And then it became not what I thought it was going to be, and it turned into, well, I'm just going to cancel this contract because it means a lot of money, but it isn't solving the problem. What we need to do is have hearings on, okay, look, here are the problems, here are the wastes. Let's fix the waste. Let's tighten the thing so that people that do fall on hard times have an opportunity or a safety net. But those people that are abusing the system, then fix it.
Right. Remember, we heard in well, they actually fired all the people that do all that investigating, so that's not going to help. But in 2016, what did we hear? We were going to have the best, the greatest, the most spectacular healthcare system in 2 weeks. When we're talking about all this Fauci stuff and the Clintons and Obamas and all that blah, blah, we're not talking about healthcare. We're not talking about our veterans. We're not talking about a return on investment for taxes. We're not talking about any of that because Republicans don't have a plan. Their plan is they want to go back to 1928. That's their plan.
Well, it goes to my saying: if you're not for something, tell me what you are for, not what you're against. So if you're against,
starting at Calumet Avenue, eastbound 8094. Dead stop.
Eastbound,
so do not get on.
Don't get on to Calumet.
Do not get on to Calumet Avenue. Go down to take Ridge Road to Klein or something. But eastbound is an absolute parking lot.
Hopefully, it clears up by this afternoon because I have a meeting in Gary. But we have two phone calls. I thank you very much, and I'm always a big fan of if you're not for something, if you're against something, tell me what you're for. We can figure this out. Caller, go ahead. We've got 7 minutes, so you got to make it quick. Good morning.
A couple things.
Yeah.
Morning. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
All right. Couple things. First of all, instead of having the Congress getting together and dealing with this guy from 4 years ago on the epidemic or the pandemic and everything else, why don't we talk about how the people that are in charge aren't getting this war taken care of with Iran? That was supposed to be only 5 days. We weren't supposed to have any troops over there, yada, yada. So far, the last I heard was it's 6 months now, and we have 30,000 troops on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody on the ground in Iran, but it's definitely been going on 4 or 5 months, and it's expensive. And quite honestly, I don't think there's an exit strategy. Let's just say this: there could be an exit strategy. I don't think it's something that's probably going to be pretty.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, in July of 23. People were talking about the gas and everything else. In July of 23, the national average of gas was $3.71 a gallon. We are now paying $3.40 a gallon at Sam's Club, and that's minus the 70 cents per gallon sales tax or state tax that we have going on. Why aren't we doing something about that? Why aren't we doing something about getting, the air traffic controllers went on strike and everything else, and the federal government stepped in and did something about that? Why, when we have something as important as a refinery that has people out of work, why isn't the federal government stepping in and saying, hey, BP, come to the table. Hey, USW, get to the table. Let's get this shit worked out. Oh, well, sorry.
No, it's a great question. I think I got another caller, but the great point. I mean, the point is the fact that, the gas sales tax that Governor Braun has suspended, which I love and I appreciate it, and I'm glad he stepped up to do it. I don't think that's going to stop, but I think there's going to be a point where he's going to need that revenue. He's going to need that revenue to fund some things. So I don't think this sales tax is going on forever. So, or this sales tax holiday.
The holiday's supposed to be over next month. And let's be honest. He probably did it because he wants to get reelected next year.
Well, I tell you what, I think here's what I think. I don't know anything, but they have a surplus in the state of Indiana because of how they manage things. So they have a little bit to play with, and I don't mean play. That's my word, but they have a little bit of cushion that they can work with. Now that's not going to happen in Illinois. Illinois is not in our Indiana situation. So I will just say Indiana's in a better fiscal situation that they can make this decision. But there is going to come a time where you can't offset this forever because that helps fund the roads. And so there's going to be a decision made, and hopefully this war, for everyone's sake, it gets over with. And we get back to it, because I just think that it's going to grow into a larger conflict all over there, and it's going to impact. It's going to impact not only the fuel side of things, but there's other factors that could be involved. And so, with that, I appreciate the call. We have 3 minutes. We have one caller, or did they hang up on us? We have one more call. I want to make sure I get to them and go. You're ready. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'll go quick. I can't. It's almost hard for me to fathom that you and Dave from Lily White Millard Beach, Fauci and the crew lied about everything about the COVID, from the vaccine, from what it would do. They knew it didn't work. He tells you that in his own words in his diary. He lied about virtually all of that stuff.
Well, what did he lie about specifically? Okay, yeah, people died. That's correct. People died. That's 100%.
No. People died because he lied. He right in his diary, he says, we know this doesn't work, but we're going to give it a shot. So they used the American people as experimental guinea pigs, and people dropped dead from the vaccine and are walking around with physical and mental disabilities now. And you guys don't think that's important, that they lied about virtually every aspect of COVID? We lost $1.2 trillion. You don't think that's a big deal? This guy lied about it from the start. You don't think that's important?
All right.
I'm stunned. I don't know.
No, you shouldn't be stunned at all. One bit. So let me explain. And I only have one.
I'm stunned that you two guys
I'm gonna let you finish.
Not important.
Look, here's what I don't think is important.
Our government lied at every aspect.
Okay, did you read the 1,000 pages of his diary? Because I didn't. Did you?
I probably heard about.
No.
3 hours.
It's a specific question. Did you read it? And did you read it verbatim from the diary itself, or did you just hear about it from some filtered news source that you like to listen to? That's a question. It's a question. Did you read it?
They read it.
No. Did you read it? I didn't ask
I heard
them.
guys read it.
No. Did you read it?
I didn't read the whole thing.
Okay, great. All right, answer that. That's a great question.
But I've read the excerpts from it.
Oh, when you read it, I'm not reading it.
You think?
Go ahead. It's your show.
So
Go ahead.
You think the guy? You think he lied in his own diary?
I don't think he.
That's what you think.
I didn't read his diary. Number one. Okay, so I'm asking you, did you read it? But you said that he's killed millions of people. Let me ask you a question, and this is just a general question. Do you take the flu shot?
Sure.
Do you take the flu shot? Have you ever?
I took one. Yeah, I took one when I was young.
Okay.
And when I got to about the age of 23, I go, why is it every time I take this, I get sick and haven't taken it since I was
you mean it didn't work? So that's just the same thing. I mean, the COVID shot and flu shot are, sometimes it was impactful for folks and sometimes it wasn't. I don't take the flu shot. That's just the way it goes. But here's the thing. You can't sit there and go, he's responsible for 9 million people. The president that is currently in office gave him accommodation and wrote glowing remarks about how well he did for the American people in Operation Warp Speed. And now all of a sudden, 4 years, 6 years after the fact, we're going to go, yeah, he lied to us. But come on. Look, there could be some issues. He may have not done things right. And quite honestly, I think he messed up some kids because I didn't like the whole fact of sheltering in place and people didn't even know how to wear a mask. But to blame 9 million deaths on one person after the president that's currently in office. And I don't have derangement syndrome, but you can't be that person, give him accommodation, and then all of a sudden, and by the way, I did read that he was watching 3 hours of the testimony. Why would you, as the president, you've got nothing better to do besides watch theatrics, because I didn't watch but 1 minute of it, because I'm going, this is what Dave Kuziak said. It's all about little clips. Get a clip, and I'm going to go send it to the people. 33% of my base loves this crap, and then I'll try to figure out the rest. I don't buy it. I think we need to move in. I think we need to learn from it. But no one's perfect, and neither is medicine. Medicine isn't perfect either. So I appreciate it. Trust me. I will talk, but it's 9:02. I gotta move on to the next caller if I have one. If I don't, I'm closing off. And I sorry, Mad Mac. We'll talk later. I still love you. Who's the caller? Who we got?
Hi, this is Lee calling up from Hammond.
Hi, Lee.
It's sort of a dumb statement to say that just because you didn't read the entire diary, you don't believe anything that's reported. If that's the case, what do we even have a media for? The whole idea of the media is to actually inform the public as to what's going on in the world. Do you know if there's a war going on in Iran unless you get on a plane and fly over there and see for yourself? It's sort of a dumb thing to just negate all of the evidence that's been presented against this Fauci guy just because you don't like what it says.
No, Lee, I just said, did you read it? And I will tell you, and you would probably agree with this statement. Depending on which news source you use, whether that's CNN, Fox, anyone else in between, would you not agree that some folks kind of tilted or slanted in their direction? That's why I don't believe
I spend whatever time I have to garner the facts of what I can see here. And I make it a point to actually try to understand what's going on in this world. I don't buy anybody's take from one side or the other. I look at the facts that I can garner from it and make my own decisions on it. You have to actually do that.
And that's my only point.
Just to throw it out because you don't like the person that's actually relating the story because you think they got a political agenda, that's sort of dumb in itself too.
No, I disagree because here's the thing. I could care less if Fauci, who Fauci is. Fauci doesn't owe me for anything. All I'm saying is, I think as a citizenry, as public, we sometimes, a lot of times, depend on people to tell us what the meaning of it is. So I will tell you, I've done this experiment at home. I've turned on Fox, I've turned on CNN, and quite honestly, you would think that they're living in two separate countries on a matter until you read it yourself. And so that's why asked Mad Max.
The facts of the matter, if there's a plane crash and people are dead, that's pretty much a given.
I understand that.
I don't care who's spinning it their way. You've got to get through the BS to actually find out what's actually going on.
100%.
And if you're going to throw everything out because you just don't like the spin they're putting on it, well, the only one that's going to suffer is you and the public. Because
I want to know
the public's the one that, after this COVID debacle, we're the one that's actually been, pretty much wrecked our culture and actually damaged a lot of lives, if not ended a lot of lives.
Yeah, Lee, and I get it. We can't do everything. We can't fly to see to see an airplane crash. We have to sort of believe that. But if something is written, you can take words. I mean, look, I've been quoted in the paper in my past life, and sometimes the editor edits out certain words that were said before what the base was, and it can change the whole context of what you're saying. So what I was saying,
I could care less about Fauci's diary. It did or did not the governor of New York put people with COVID in nursing homes with older people in jeopardy of actually infecting them with the so-called virus that everybody was freaking out of. Did that or did that not happen?
And I will tell you, I agree that what was going on in New York was wrong, but that's something that you learn. No, I think you need to learn from it.
Well, I mean, what is the problem here with this? So, we're going to go ahead and attack the messenger for the fact that we've been, we spent 4 or 5 years of the last decade being okey doke by a gain of function experiment that when it was performed, and don't even get me started on the vaccine that was given to animals back in 2012, and within 2 or 3 years they were all dead. It's that very same vaccine they've got in something like 5 billion people or something around this planet. Don't even get me started on that. But the fact is that if you're going to just protect the people that were behind all of this because you don't like the people that are reporting on them, that I don't get it. I just don't get it. You don't like like the messenger, so they're going to throw the message out.
The message doesn't matter to me. I just want the truth, and I don't want it filtered. I want to look for it myself, and so I know things get taken out of context because they want to spin it for their own political side. Both sides do it. I'm not here to protect anyone, but here's what I am for. I'm here for honesty, and I think, quite honestly, most of the media has gotten away from non-spin, and I don't want to be spun. So.
Yeah, no kidding. Tell me something I don't know. Well, everybody knows that. I mean, everybody knows but the American public is being spun. Anybody dumb enough to believe what they see on CNN or Fox deserve what happens.
But you know what?
Facts are the facts.
Believe it or not, Lee, there are people, and I know them, and we're going to go to break after this.
I can't help that.
No. I believe it or not,
none of us
people
can help that there's idiots out there.
I understand. We can't protect ourselves from that, but I will tell you this. Certain people in this world just believe what they believe off of certain channels. Whatever channel that is, that's their thing, and they won't veer from it. So anyways.
Well, that's never going to change. Otherwise, otherwise casinos and carnival barkers would never make a buck if there wasn't. Who was it said there's a sucker born every minute?
Amen.
If we're never going to get rid of the world of idiots, it's just a fact.
I appreciate the call. I really am. I got to go.
Okay.
It's 9:07. I appreciate it. Have a good day. And everyone, thank you. It got lively there. Kuziak always stirs it up. So 9:07, we're out of here. I will be back sometime in August, Lord willing. And Adriana, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It started off slow, but definitely picked up. So we'll see everybody, and stay tuned for whatever show Adriana decides to put on next.
Planting a tree, installing a fence, whether your project is big or small, NIPSCO reminds you to know what's below and contact 811 at least 2 full business days before doing any digging so that utility companies can mark the location of their underground lines. Contacting 811 is free and it's the law. Avoid possible penalties, costly repairs, or injuries. DIY or a pro, safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.